Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming out of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 86. Hello out there, I am your host, I'm Elliot Jay O'Neill, and joining us again is returning guest Maddie Dockrill.
Hi.
And here as always, except when he's not, BT Calloway.
Hello.
Thank you guys for coming here tonight and joining me for The Simpsons Index. This is the podcast where we watch and review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but there's a twist. Each episode must come from a different decade.
Such a twist.
What a twist.
What a twist.
I get tricked by it every single time.
86 episodes in and still...
Yeah, every time you shock me, you bastard.
We just watched an episode from the HD era. This was season 24, episode 17, What Animated Women Want. This was first released in April of 2013. It was directed by Stephen Dean Moore, written by J. Stuart Burns. In this episode, Homer's pissed off Marge once again by not listening to her when they were having lunch together. And so we see Homer trying to once again repair their relationship. And in the B story, Milhouse remembers a Marlon Brando movie he watched in class and starts treating Lisa with a bit of Brando. Yeah, with a bit of Brando, and starts treating her like a jerk, basically, and she eats it up, and they have had an adventure together. Guys, what did you think?
It's okay. It's so close to being, like, pretty good. I'm a little bit sad about it, story-wise at least. Yeah, jokes weak sauce, story okay sauce.
I feel like the fact that it had this, like, whole intro that was a Breaking Bad spoof, like, in my mind, I was like, like, you know it's going to be a pretty average episode because they're so desperate for this long filler intro.
Yeah, like it did take about 2 minutes. People like who might have only seen the YouTube clip of this couch gag, yeah, they do this big extended Breaking Bad intro with
Blue
Marge
cupcakes, yeah.
making blue cupcakes, which it was interesting that, yeah, they had even a bit of live action Breaking Bad footage in there.
I actually quite like that as, the bit when they're just taking a break from cooking meth to watch The Simpsons. Like, that's what I do, except for the meth.
So they had Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston playing Walter and Jesse, and this was filmed around the time of Breaking Bad season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great season.
They're all great seasons.
They are. It's such a good show. You got to get back into it, Maddie.
I did definitely give up halfway through.
It's on Stan.
Maybe.
Right now. $12 a month.
Bloody love Stan. $10, mate. $10.
$10 now.
$10 for the shit of pixels.
Sponsor us.
Yes, we need sponsors. So yeah, I fucking forgot the first question, even though I've done this 86 goddamn times.
What was a moment from the story that stood out to you for better or for worse?
Well, for me, I'd say it was how shit the reason Marge got shitty at Homer for. Like, it was the right escalation with the wrong starting point.
Yeah, I'm half on board there, because I like the idea that he's taking her out, but he's not really listening to her, but he kept trying, and you kind of like, you could kind of meet him halfway. But then I also did appreciate that there was no quick fix, but then there kind of was. But yeah, we'll get into this.
I think what stood out for me was probably the whole Lisa Milhouse dynamic. Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's like, I'm going to be a jerk and she'll love that. And then she does. And I'm like, fucking hell. Like, this is so borderline offensive.
And then it just ends as well.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm done with this now. Okay.
So there were some right beats in there, but I thought the way that story unfolded was really terribly done, where she asked it for the cupcake, and then he remembers a class where they watched Streetcar Named Desire.
Yeah, you think they'd have him watching it, then getting the idea to be like Brando, then have the cupcake bit.
Yeah, to me, that's just bad story pacing. In that same scene, she eats it up immediately is, I think borderline offensive.
Well, also, this is an episode where they clearly had some extra minutes they could have spent because they had such a long intro they were covering for the lack of content. You could have had a couple of extra moments.
Which I will say, in terms of their story, I do like how the blue cupcake was a thing.
Yeah.
That it wasn't totally done in pointlessly, that it was the...
Yeah, the rare times the couch gag ties into the episode. Yeah.
BT, what about you? What's a moment from this episode that stood out to you for better or worse?
The school therapist. Was that Wanda Sykes?
That was Wanda Sykes playing the school therapist. Yeah, I like Wanda Sykes.
Yeah, that was my only real note.
Oh.
I was like, hey, is that Wanda Sykes? Nice.
And I liked that she needed fluffy fella way more than Milhouse did.
Yeah, and then you get a follow-up joke, which I kind of love-hate, where Milhouse says, fella! Yeah. Like, you got me, you bastards.
Oh, because streetcar?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's something that I'm giving this episode credit for is that it does have a memory. It's remembering stuff that they've set up previously in the episode and bringing it back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do like about the Homer storyline is the effort that he's making to try and make things up, and then like especially that moment with the drawer full of apology cards.
Yeah.
I think that's a really funny way to illustrate like how many times he's fucked up.
Yeah, and the fact that, well, it's just not cutting it this time. It's just happened so many times before.
Yeah. And that line at the end where she's like, and Homer and Marge's marriage was saved for another week.
Yeah. Yeah, at least they went there. But anyway, we'll get back to all that. But play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
At least the once.
Yep.
Nunts.
Once and nuns. Yeah, I've probably seen it twice, maybe thrunce, but yeah, I don't generally return to this episode. So yeah, let's talk about some of the wacky elements of this episode. What were some of the cartoony moments that stood out to you?
Grandpa can teleport.
Yeah, that was another gag that I liked that was immediately ruined. Yeah, Homer fixes the door.
Yeah. Close the door, open, and then Grandpa is just behind it.
Yeah.
And for the sheer surprise of it, I did get a laugh, so...
Well, it was made surprising because the door wasn't actually in a frame. It was, it was just sitting in the middle of the basement. Homer's like, they're done, and then ding dong.
That's the power of Grandpa.
But yeah, then they do the whole thing. Hey, no comical entrances. You never said anything about comical exits.
Yeah, could have been. How did you get here? I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely could have played that better.
Cut and run, yeah.
And then there was the weird animated sushi. That was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, the very, very ending where it's like, hey, let's watch sushi being pooped out of Santa's little helper. Hope you had fun on the episode. Poop.
Yeah, it was like a somehow worse version of South Park's Lemmy Winks.
Well, at least Lemmy Winks was, intentionally gross.
Yeah.
This
Lemmy
was just...
Lemmy Winks.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to phrase it. Just, what the hell? Why? Who pitched this? And the rest of the writers, we went, yes, that is how we leave this episode. Good call, Matt. Fuck you, Matt.
It was J. Stewart Burns.
You don't know who pitched it.
Oh, yeah, good
It could have been anyone in the writer's room, especially Matt.
Yeah, there was definitely just this point in the episode where everything just like took a turn for the worst. Like it was kind of going okay. I was like, oh, I'm not hating it. Like it's all right. And then all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I think it's just because both plot lines just fizzle out.
Yeah.
Like Milhouse goes, I'm done being a jerk to you. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Marge's like, oh, I guess I'll forgive you. I was like, oh, you had something here, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Was it lunchtime? Yeah.
I guess it's a reset universe.
Yeah.
Like, can't really change anything, so whoop.
Yeah. But that's the problem with the Milhouse Lisa storyline is that Milhouse actually had a really engaging crisis of conscience.
Yeah, and I dig that it was kind of more his story than hers.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, being a jerk is working. I just feel bad about it, but it's getting me what I want, but under the wrong pretenses. Like, how do I feel about this?
And yeah, we know Milhouse is that sensitive that he would really feel bad about this.
So it had an interesting conflict that just ended. Didn't really resolve. Just ended. I was kind of expecting that, even though I've seen this one before, I kind of forgot it. And I was expecting that scene where he takes it too far and thinks, okay, confidence is good, but being a total dickbag is bad. And just,
Yeah.
I always wanted like Lisa to take back the power.
Yeah, that would've been
Sorry,
fun too.
skipping ahead to the
Yeah.
question of what I'd change about this episode is
Yeah.
I would have liked Lisa to have taken the power back from Milhouse in a like kind of dynamic play. Like he takes it too far and she goes, actually, you know what? Screw you.
Yeah.
I'm out.
That's what I kept expecting to have happen. It just didn't.
Yeah, like what would have even been more interesting because they set it up that Bart is in on it and he's like, whatever, she's my dumb sister. I'll let you manipulate her or whatever.
Yeah, then maybe have him care a little bit.
Yeah. Or there's places to like either have him care or have him push Milhouse to take it too far and then get Lisa to do a bunch of shit she doesn't want. She discovers Bart was behind it. Like there is a lot of conflict you can generate, but yeah, fizzle's the right word, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Any other wacky moments that stood out to you for better or wacky?
The whole sex store
Yeah.
thing with Helen and Reverend Lovejoy in there. I was like,
Hey, they're a
that was
married
fucking
couple
wacky.
and they can do what they like.
I think it's actually good casting because they are the exact type of repressed Christians, and because especially like how gossipy and holier than thou Helen is, I actually do think it plays into their characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim then going Homer help was a bit weird.
That was.
Yeah, that implies he's not okay with it.
Yeah. Funnier that they were just, what, this is what we do?
Yeah.
God never said anything about whips and leather.
I just was like, this is a family to children's show.
Yeah. The whole...
What is going on?
And how he got to the sex shop was weird as well, because he just takes Moe's advice. He's like, well, I've been reading 50 Shades of Grey, and apparently women are into this stuff now. I was like, first of all, why would you listen to Moe?
Yeah.
Do we need to bring up that Moe was writing gay erotica? Like, what was that?
That was gay erotica.
What was it in reference to? Who's Sheriff Andy? So he was probably writing fan fiction there about Barney as well.
Yeah, Sheriff Andy and Barney. I'm going to Google that. Hold up.
So he was like Tina from Bob's Burgers, erotic friend fiction.
Oh, see, Tina's erotic fiction gets me every time. I fucking love that. But this, I was like,
Tina's a professional.
The school had banned touching butts.
I think...
I'm a big Bob's Burgers fan. Did you find it yet?
It might have been the Andy Griffith show.
Are they like Southern? I feel like it was some kind of like Southern Western
That
vibe.
would play into that, yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, that's Andy Griffith playing Sheriff Barney, because I just Googled Andy Sheriff Barney.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated. But yeah, I feel like the whole 50 Shades of Grey thing was just so damn trendy. Like, you know, it's not a kid's show per se, but it is appealing to kids, and kids do watch it. And this is that whole weird thing about 50 Shades of Grey kind of being in the public space. And
Available at Kmart. The dirty smut that it is.
yeah, you had a big rant on it in our web series.
I
That
did.
was great. Go check it out at daveplus1.com.
Yeah, even the lead-in line to that whole scene. Mo, how do you please a woman with a word beginning with F? What?
Why?
What?
It's very simple. Fudge.
Feed them.
I kind of like that this was the point where Marge was like taken aback, but then was like, oh wow, you are actually going to a lot of effort here.
Yeah, so I'm kind of mixed on that, because I like the idea that she likes that he never stops trying, and that's a good point. It's just everything else was kind of, especially when the sushi nearly worked, it's like that token effort nearly worked, even though we've shown that token efforts don't work.
Well, yeah, tying into that, the heart of this episode, see, that was a scene that I liked where Homer's apology almost worked, and it came from that, the sushi chef's really meaningful speech. Like, I like that almost worked, but then it didn't because he fucked up again.
Well, I guess that was probably the point where it fizzled, because they were like, here's the solution. It's almost there. Oh, no, we still have more time. Let's just fucking fuck around a bit more.
Yeah, I guess that's what kind of bugged me, is this is how we'd normally solve this. It didn't work. But then it kind of just solved itself.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. There's just something appealing about someone actually giving Homer the solution. You know, here's what you need to say. And then he's like, for reasons I forgot in the car on the way home. And then,
Yep. Well, it's sushi. It's good.
So, yeah, how about the other heart moments of the episode? Where did you guys feel bumps?
Being lost in the blue of your eyebrows was a good line. I got a chuckle, and once I felt anything, but...
Baby's got blue eyebrows. Behind blue eyebrows.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I felt any actual like heart moments in this episode. I mean, I thought it was cute that Homer was so excited about his date with Marge, but then of course that all blew up.
Not for a good reason though.
No, for a terrible reason. I mean, the man's eating his sushi, Marge. Let him enjoy his sushi. Jesus.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you know, it's always the same with you. Oh, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, Marge. Oh, I'm going to take you on the most romantic lunch of your life, Marge. He did take you to lunch.
Yeah.
He got kind of swept up in the food, but, you know, it's lunch.
Yeah, look, we know they have a history of Homer being inconsiderate and stuff, but that wasn't the right time to blow up. Or in this episode, it wasn't even the straw that broke the camel's back. We saw nothing of Homer being bad before that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if it had been, I thought we were going to sushi. Yeah, but this burger joint's closer and they have a special today.
There we go.
You know.
Yeah, like ended up at Krusty's.
Yeah, something
instead.
that was more about him, because I know we said this, but hey, this instead, because I want to do it.
Or, yeah, Homer gets put off by, you know, all the waiters' mistreatment. Oh, restaurant this fancy where the chefs can be mean to you? No thanks, you know?
Yeah, although I do have a mind on Charles Edical.
Or, you know,
Sorry, that wasn't me sneezing. That's actually saying words. This is how fast I've gotten. Yes. A sushi restaurant that fancy would not have snap-apart chopsticks.
Oh.
Yes.
Or the fact that Homer could have been like, that's what sushi is?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially to be followed up with gone before. You got poisoned and nearly died, remember?
That's true.
Or maybe he could have been, wait, we're not going back here.
Yeah. Wait. Does this place sell fugu? So,
although, to be fair, if he never wanted to eat sushi again, that's understandable.
yeah, definitely. You give him a free pass for that. And this was another appearance of Akira, played by George Takei. He's not always played by George Takei, but he was in this one.
Wow, I thought that was off-brand Akira. It was actually Takei.
Yeah,
or Takei. I've never been sure.
Editing Bay Elliot Jay here to say that it's George Takei. But the sushi chef, that was Maurice LaMarche, and I think you could tell because his accent was a little racist at times. It leaned very badly into some of the tropes, I felt.
I didn't really notice.
I think it lacked nuance. But, he also was able to deliver that really heartfelt speech of fish being so delicious, you'd think they were delivered by angels. And then the leftovers, which we make into omakase.
Omakase? Where have I heard that before?
Shut up. Eat your omakase.
I did like that bit.
But yeah, we only have one ocean, but it contains many, many delights, and that's love or something.
Yeah, and the words, what a delicious analogy.
So, that's about all I can say for the heart. But ultimately, though, guys, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, I guess no one's off-brand. I mean, they're just not quite being motivated properly or go the right directions. But...
I feel like the Lindsay Nagel voiceover, the fact that it ran through the entire episode.
Yeah.
And
that
wasn't tied to anything. It was just this disassociated narrator.
Yeah.
I kept expecting it to come around somehow, but it didn't. And
I feel like in that sense, it didn't. Like, it would have been better if it would have been like Troy McClure presenting a Simpsons clip show sort of vibe.
If we could do that, sniff.
I know, but like you could do something similar with Lindsay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I am suggesting.
Yeah. Because, if you're going to have this framework, it's like the last episode we did where it opened with the big theater thing and then it ended, but it was never used to a good effect throughout the episode. And I thought this was the same situation here where they had the narration interjections, but it was so inconsistent. And...
Yeah, I think it was a fair device to have. It just wasn't thought out. And same with the curtain calls and stuff like that. It was just, I like the concept, but follow through on it. Don't just have it present, but not an actual idea.
Definitely. Sorry.
So you're doing such interesting things on the screen. I'm distracted.
And I'm not being present. I've got to go grab my laptop when we do. Is that reputation justified?
Okay.
Because I thought saving on the cloud would mean that it would be instantly there. But...
Don't trust the cloud. No one knows what the cloud is.
Hate the cloud.
See?
The all-power Apple God knows.
Yeah. We can only say that safe in this soundproof booth. But the cloud is not to be trusted, man.
Siri is always listening.
Oh, I actually really like that reference to Siri. Searchy.
Yeah.
And then, just the whole look for gas fluid or brake fluid. Yeah, look for brake fluid. There are 14 Taco Bells in your area. No, that's not what I said. And then it laser beams him.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck, I can so relate to that. I fucking hate you, Siri. Every time.
It's like, I got a new phone recently and I was fiddling with the camera and it says, do you want to turn off heartbeat detection? I'm like, what? Why do you have that? Facial recognition was bad enough. Now you're seeing if there's like heartbeats in the room, which is also probably going to be the basis of a good horror movie at some point, or a bad one that I'll still watch. But still, it's like, that's a little too... Why can you do that? So you don't detect things that are faces but not people, which is good, but also you're getting too smart for smartphones.
Yeah.
Dumb it down a shade.
Well, yeah, at least the phones don't have lasers in them. Yet.
Oh, do they?
It's the lasers you can't see that you got to worry about. Yeah, so I don't think the character's integrity are off. I agree with you there. I think it's actually more a failing of the story.
Yeah, there were elements here that I liked, and they just didn't come together. And it wasn't heavy on the jokes, but I was kind of having a good enough time for about 2/3 of it, and then,
Yeah, I'd say the middle is like where it really was going all right. Everything started up for stupid reasons and started up stupidly, fizzled out at the end. But yeah, there's a good, nice little chunk in the middle there.
Yeah, I think because in the middle is where you get Milhouse being conflicted about this change in his personality, even though it's working. And it's where you get Homer's typical apologies not working. You're like, oh, So where's this going? Continue episode. I am intrigued.
And yeah, I actually like it when he ticks off a bunch of chores from a 6-year-old chore list. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I really thought that's where it was going to turn around. Like, I honestly was like, yep, that's it. Like, what a win.
Yeah. And there could have been a lot more material from that. I would have actually liked to see, there you go, boy. Finally put the training wheels on your bike. And he's like, I'm 10.
Although I do like the treehouse collapses and he just ticks off, dismantle unsafe treehouse.
That was good timing.
Definitely. But guys, do you reckon you'd watch it again?
I reckon if I was cozy on a couch and someone had brought me cocoa and, had my feet up and maybe my hair did and my nails were drying. And first of all, I have a lot of questions about who did what to my hair and nails. But other than that, I'd be like, well, I don't want to ruin this. They put a lot of effort in, so I keep watching. Under those exact circumstances.
How about you, Maddie? What bizarre circumstance would make you watch this episode again?
I would say I would not actively go out of my way to watch this episode, but if it was on and nothing else was on, say when you're channel searching.
Yeah, look, if I came part the way through this episode, I might sit down and...
I think if I forgot it, I would watch it again. I'd be like, oh, well, I've seen this one. Where does this go? Oh, wait, that's right. God damn it.
BT, what would you like to change about this episode?
I think we've covered it. Just take it in a different third act. Everything else I thought was okay. Maybe throw in some more funny, but that's easier said than done. But yeah, just take any of our suggestions on how to complete this episode and do that instead.
Yep, definitely. Maddie?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it just feel like it was really going somewhere, had a bit of potential, and it just lost it.
It's sad.
Shat itself.
Yeah.
I think there's actually room to split these off into 2 different episodes, honestly. There is enough gold to mine from both of them. It's just, they just didn't dig very far.
No. Yeah, it was very surface level.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that a lot of the plot turns and stuff are just, sort of perfunctory. They're just sort of, that'll work for the moment, but I'll come back and fix it later, and they never came back.
Yeah, it feels like a first pass on a script, or maybe a second pass.
Yeah. Musical moments. We had the funk song at the start, which I think was in an episode of Breaking Bad, but it was very reminiscent. I always loved the music choices in Breaking Bad. They'd always use some really funky stuff or some really cool Latin music, yeah. There was another one at the end, wasn't there?
The song for the sushi?
Oh, what was it? What you get. That's what I wrote. What do you get when you fall in love? There we go.
That's right. I like that song.
I can reinterpret my notes sometimes. Which I first heard in Austin Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
That's a good movie. That 14-year-old me remembers.
Yeah. Yeah, old Burke Bacharach song, playing over the end over there. Their little sex dungeon burning.
Although I do like and also am terrified by Marge going, I didn't hate all the toys. Which one were you into? Oh, I'm not going to tell you. Oh, what size batteries does it take? D, how many? 16. Wow, that's...
basically a generator, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was very... I felt very uncomfortable about that.
Did.
I was like... I don't know, Marge is a mother age, and I just feel like I was like...
Yeah, that's...
I like if she picked up the feather tickler. I like this one. And Homer's like, ooh, what do you want me to do with it? And just makes him go do some dusting.
Yeah.
That would have been a better joke that would have raised far fewer questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
16 D-cell batteries. That's a lot of power.
I think it's just... I know this is probably awful of me to say, but, Marge has, come up as this character that's so, pure and innocent and, she's so sweet and kind. And then she's like, 16 D batteries. Sweet Lord.
Mercy.
Well, she didn't get into the dingle swing, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not think about that too much.
But even when she came in,
I'm picturing a Newton's credit. Sorry.
Even when she entered the room, she goes, ooh, a snuggle dungeon. I was like, oh, cute.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a weird scene to cap the episode on. Like I said, I think it was just totally trendy of them just referencing 50 Shades. And
you know what? Weirdly enough, if they dove harder into that and just had this, because there's that whole statistic where women who have read it and shared it with their husbands now enjoy a better sex life. If they'd gone that route, as odd as that would have been, at least it would have been a better storyline of connecting between the two. But instead, they're just quick reference, and now we're doing this, and goodbye.
Yeah. It's totally that. 50 Shades is the thing, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, you heard of this thing?
Oh, we're into the last bits of the show.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is not my A game. I don't have a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, this is one where the episode's letting us down. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't want to say, this is one where I have a lot more notes that I just don't want to talk about any of them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like what?
Backbone equal attractive.
Haha, you did want to talk about it.
I'm just reading things I've got written down, but fine.
What about the ripoff of the soup Nazi? No soy sauce!
Oh, yeah. Although I kind of like that. The guy just sneaking in his little packet thinking he's beat the system and then all of a sudden, edamame!
Yeah, I kind of like that. And then it was like, edamame them away. I was like, oh. And then he's like, you really think that's going to make us leave?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't need the rest of it with the tip and the fire hydrant and all that bullshit, but yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, they should have just kept that there. Like
Being pelted with edamame.
Yes, so good.
Edamame. Come on, there's the start of a tongue twister. Edamame.
Edamame Mimes, Massachusetts.
So, sorry, what was the note that I went all improv on you on?
Oh, the wheelhouse just goes, so women find backbones attractive. That was it.
Oh, yeah, and then
wrote it
Skinner's like, I'm a weak person, bleh, and then leaves.
Which is ridiculous because he has phenomenal posture.
He does. He has a very...
Yeah, that's like one of the first things they drill you on in the army.
Yeah.
Shave your head, get your posture right.
Yeah, physically, I would say Skinner does have quite a strong backbone, but metaphorically.
Yeah, that's right. So we're in the final parts of the podcast now. Maddie, do you have any other notes?
Yes. The skin-colored cabs, because they're yellow and cabs are yellow. And I was like, ha!
I never noticed. Okay, that's a pretty good sight gag. Any other notes?
I really liked Marlon Brando's reappearance in the thought bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
And how he progressively, in the end, on the last thought bubble, he was, Marlon Brando at the end of his life, this fat, overweight man in a muumuu. I was like, oh, that's so funny.
I'm down to 2 cupcakes a day, but I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as well, in the scene before it, he's like, yeah, they paid me $3 million for 3 days of work, so don't expect any more free advice from me.
God damn you, Brando.
Also, I liked the environmental shout out to what can we take from the ocean for your pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
I also liked how the therapist was dating the sushi man.
Yeah, that was a good turn that I didn't see
It
coming.
was such a funny little tie-in. And as well, he just wakes up because he goes, someone somewhere is feeding my sushi to the dog.
You didn't get this upset when you heard I was fired.
Yeah. And, good callback as well. She's holding a little furry fella.
Yep.
Fluffy fella, sorry. Any other notes?
I did like as well the Lindsay Nagel voice, how it said, Milhouse has made his choice, and if there's any justice, he's doomed.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that, the choice was a bad choice. Oh, and I loved the flash to Maggie.
Oh, let's see what Maggie's up to.
Yeah. She's about to fall out of her crib. Well, at least she got a throw in. They didn't completely omit her from the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oftentimes I would just totally forget that Maggie's even a character in this show, and I think the show does as well.
Yeah.
But it was an odd cut as well, and then, I'm sure she'll be fine for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Although I do like the follow-up line where Marge is getting Homer's underwear off the ceiling fan. It's like, oh, why do all his shots into the laundry basket have to be 3-pointers?
Yeah. How about you, BT? Any other notes?
I'm disappointed they got the idea to go to the sushi restaurant from a tire guide, which has Quimby dressed as a Michelin Man, but they didn't reference the tire fire.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's just so easy. That's, again, anything I've written down I don't really care to talk about. So
yeah, it's a bit of a non-episode.
Sorry, my last one is I'm going to woo her with woohoo.
Not bad.
Wasn't bad.
Oh, you know what I did like?
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I've become my mother. And then she goes, well, common sense never goes out of style.
Yeah.
I loved that little argument she had in Marge's voice as well. I thought that was quite funny.
And well voice acted as well. She kind of landed that exact between Lisa and Marge kind of, yeah. I think if that had gone wrong at all, it wouldn't have worked. But I think, nicely done, Yardley.
So this is another thing where you could have at least had the stories intertwine or had Lisa going to Marge for counsel at some point.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have been
what a twist.
And then Marge, maybe in the doldrums of boredom, would have been like, you know what? If he's being interesting, go for it. Yeah, that would have been interesting. That would have
Marge starts getting attracted to Milhouse.
No, stop.
Oh, and we're going to weird sex things again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bad host.
Yes, very.
Actually, there was that moment as well with the therapist where I almost thought she was going to
jump his bones.
Yeah, when she's like...
She does give him a half dreamy look, but then the follow-up line is, look, normally I tell kids to be themselves. In your case, don't.
Yeah.
Whatever that was, it's working.
Yeah, there could have been so much more potential for Marge to give the standard Marge advice. Oh, tolerate it and see what happens. And then for her to go, no, fuck it. Go with the bad boy.
Yeah, I think it would have been really interesting because, parents don't always give great advice. I've looked back on, my life and been like, were they just bored that day? Or like just not giving out, dispensing the good wisdom? Because that was not, why did they do that?
Yeah, or there could have even been like a really sweet moment between like Marge and Lisa where like Marge realizes, oh, actually Homer's not that bad. He's quite nice to me. He might be inconsiderate, but he's not a jerk.
Yeah.
And then Lisa could have been like, oh, well.
Yeah, Lisa's story serves to Marge the good aspects of Homer. That, he's occasionally inconsiderate, but he's, a sweetheart at heart. And,
he's not doing it knowingly. He's being inconsiderate by
being so comfortable, being who he is. And I think there's something to be mined from that. Better episode, we did it.
In 40 minutes or less. All right, time for my final note time.
I remembered what it was, and now I can't remember how. Was it ready for rapid notes? Something like that. Fuck, I can never remember.
That's a good theme song. I like that one.
I've done better.
I like that Homer's his first move to make up with Marge is Walrus Man or whatever.
I like a follow-up of that usually works, but not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wally the kissing walrus.
Yeah. And we've noticed recently they have this pattern of playing with old catchphrases and old words and like trying to subvert them a little. And Homer does this line about
it was like, I thought this lunch was innocuous, but it's just become oculous.
Yeah. Bad writing. Why did I write down sleep beers? I feel like that's important.
What did
Sleep
you write?
beers.
Sleep beers.
Sleep
Beers.
Because he's all like, we said to each other when we got married, we'd never go to sleep angry. He's like, I'm not going to sleep. Oh, well, you didn't have 2 beers.
Such a bad conversation and so unfunny. Oh, yeah, and Mrs. Krabappel puts out a durry in Bart's ear.
Yeah, and then he ate it. Oh.
For international listeners, a durry is a cigarette butt.
In American, you would say, could I please have a cigarette? In Australia.
Chuck is a durry, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, cunt.
What did Rod and Todd say? We flushed your cancer sticks down to hell.
Yep.
Was it cancer sticks?
Smokers are jokers.
Yeah.
So one of the things that makes Milhouse more attractive in air quotes is, as much as I liked the demolished treehouse joke, I didn't really get the point of the mutiny on the bounty reference.
No one did.
Yeah. It was pointless, right?
Yeah, it was pointless. Like, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to impress her? That's not how being a dick works. You don't try to impress people while being a jerk.
Yeah. So it was only there so Homer could do the ticking off gag, which kind of ruins it now for me.
I think they just ran out of Brando roles to reference that weren't him being old and fat.
Yeah.
So it's like, we've done Streetcar. What else is there? Like,
imagine that was the thing that like made her go, yeah, like he's chasing her around with the orange in his mouth.
I did some Islands of Dr. Moreau.
Try to do an animal morph thing on her. Time to rank this thing! On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. Maybe if the episode was just meh, you give a participant. But for the good rankings, you got good, bronze, great, silver, excellent, gold, but for the best of the very best, the ones that you just can't live without, you give those episodes cubic zirconia. Now I'm going to go first. Let me show you how it's done. Fuck, I actually really want to give it a bronze because of the parts that I liked, but I don't really want to watch it again, so I'm going participant. I wish I liked it more, but I don't. Maddie?
Is bronze, I would watch it again.
Generally speaking, we say you have to at least want to see it again to give it a medal ranking.
Okay.
Bronze is good.
Because I was going to say, it's not bad. Like, I've given participant to something that I've really hated. And I was actually going to say bronze, but then if I have to, like, do I want to watch it again? No.
Yeah.
So participant.
All right. That's a participant. BT, finish it off.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it almost has substance, and I want to reward that, but I just can't. I just feel nothing for this episode. I didn't even want to read my own notes about it.
It was just such a boring I just felt bored.
I'm not even fully bored. For most of it, I was engaged, but then it just fizzles so poorly. The rest of it suffers by, in retrospect. So yeah, participant. It's all participation.
All right, guys, this will be a unanimous participant all around. This will be joining other such episodes as The President Wore Pearls, where they do the Evita parody, Fat and the Furious, where Homer fights a bear, Mummy Beerist, where Marge goes into business with Mo to reinvigorate the pub as a fucking... Why am I explaining? It's a bad episode. Don't watch it. And quickfire, something about marrying My Fair Lady and My Fair Lady, Crook and Ladder, Eddie Given Sundance. Yeah, the
Just
participant.
a whole lot of mediocrity there.
So much. But before we go to the next episode, is that reputation justified?
Is that reputation justified?
Thank you to the BT singers. Robert David Sullivan of the AV Club, that's a new one from the AV Club for us, gave this episode a C+. This is a scattershot episode with a lot of pulp culture references, but little comic momentum.
That's completely fair.
Teresa Lopez of TV Fanatic gave the episode 3.5 stars out of 5.
I like your name, Teresa Lopez. You're getting away with it.
I felt the humour of the episode was undercut by the odd narration. It seemed unnecessary as a framing device, and it didn't really add anything.
Also true. A little too high on the star rank, though.
Yeah. And finally, Robert H. Dawson of TV Equals said, the sushi restaurant portion of What Animated Women Want felt lazy, mixing together Asian stereotypes with some vague notion of rude fancy restaurants into a less than hilarious mess.
He's just pretending to be woke.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for What Animated Women Want. That was the 525th episode of The Simpsons.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Now we're going all the way back to the 279th episode with Half Decent Proposal. We'll be back.
I hope it's half decent.
And we are back. We just watched our Teens Era episode for the evening. This was Season 13, Episode 10, Half Decent Proposal. It was first released in February of 2002. It was directed by Lauren McMullen and written by Tim Long.
Wow.
Yeah.
way to not suck at life, Tim.
Yeah, this is one that he could actually be proud of and go home to his family and go, I did this.
Show his mum. Oh, that's lovely, darling.
Yeah, because Tim Long's the writer of, like, Lisa Goes Gaga and...
a lot of episodes on the shit list.
Yeah. Like, Mo Goes From Rags to Riches. Oh, he has written some clunkers. And in this episode, Marge makes contact with Artie Ziff again, who is now a zillion billionaire, and he puts forth a half-decent proposal to rent Marge for a weekend for $1 million, which the Simpsons actually need to get Homer his snoring surgery. Guys, what did you think?
It was better than I remember.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, surprisingly.
Yeah. I think the weakest part is definitely the third act, but by then I'm having a good enough time. I actually forgave a lot of the things I thought I hated a lot more. So,
yeah. I felt like I also remembered this episode worse, mostly just because, like, Artie's a creep.
Well, he's a creep that's supposed to be a creep, though, so it works all right.
Yeah.
If it was a creep we're supposed to love, I would be like, oh, no.
Well, yeah, that's right. The story gears us to hate him, and he does one kind of okay-ish thing at the end.
Yeah.
But then proves himself to still be a creep.
Yeah.
I am watching you through a camera.
So many good musical moments in this episode.
Weren't there just?
We start with Dream.
You're going to have a field day, Elliot.
Dream.
I love that song. Who is it? The Everly Brothers or the Hollies or someone?
You know, we start with a song about dreams, we end with a song about dreams.
Oh.
Bookends. Pow.
Musical bookends. There we go. I just love that song, the rotary guitar as it comes in. So good. Yeah, and the sweep drinks at the end. Were there any other musical moments?
Yeah, there was
a few. That when they went into the dance hall, and then there was also that song when Homer's running through the mansion looking for Marge.
Oh, yeah, they're doing the old Mrs. Robinson, just the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
So in the prom or whatever it is, I think it's Cherish the love that we have. I think.
Sounds about right.
But I was more distracted because in that moment they do a shot on the band and the singer's mouth isn't moving.
Yeah, that's so weird. And what about as well the song played when Hibbert and Dr. Nick are going golfing in the car? I don't know what song it is, but it was fucking great.
Oh, I can't remember either. It was a hell of a cut.
That was such a funny misdirect because, yeah, can't get a doctor on Wednesday and he looks like he's about to take a golf swing.
And just Dr. Nick cruising down the highway while Dr. Hill just smashes letterboxes. I love that pairing. That was too much fun.
There's so many good misdirect jokes in this episode. How about the send it to Baron von Kisselot?
So there's a joke I remember really hating and I didn't mind it in this take, which is weird.
I've always loved this. It is so fucking stupid. And to have that guy with the giant, okay, who was the wise guy? You know?
I think, that was one of the few like cutaway scenes that I was like, oh, I quite like that actually. It really tied it together.
But definitely, like, Baron von Kissel, I'm glad that's the only time we've seen him. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if they hinge a plot on him.
Yeah,
in
about
the
to say, wait till season 30.
when he starts dating Smithers.
Kiss, kiss, bang, kiss a lot.
New
episode from Tim Log.
All right, so let's start the questionnaire. Maddie, what is a moment from this episode that stood out to you for better or worse?
Oh, there are a lot of moments that stood out, I think. I don't know. I just loved like Homer's insane snoring, like how out of control it got.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I loved? I loved when she goes over to Patty and Selma's house for sleep and then ends up just having this like girls' night with her sisters, which, I just think that whole
It's one of the rare times we've really seen them get along and be sisters. It's very cool.
Yeah.
That's true. It's always something to do with them being at odds with Homer and Marge is trying to be the bridge.
There's always that implication that they are sisters and they do get along, but you very rarely see it. Most of the time you only really see them together alone is in flashback, and then they're usually being dicks to Marge. So yeah, it's genuinely it's an angle we've surprisingly not explored all that often.
Yeah, and like the moment where they're like, oh, okay, yeah, she's still with Marge. No need to get the big wire cutters and take that ring off.
Although I do like the follow-up joke of taking off a bra with wire cutters.
It's just one where, you just watch them dropping. That's such good animation. Yeah, that moment, and they watch a bit of Nookie in New York.
Oh my God, I love that scene. That's one of those scenes whenever I watch Sex and the City, I always like think back of just, the Charlotte. I also enjoy sex.
Yeah.
And then Patty and Selma being like, this is so like our lives.
It's like someone put a camera in this apartment.
They're just in their PJs.
Yes, her sexy Aunt Nighty. Oh, I love it. I just feel like that's every woman watching Sex and the City being like, yep, oh my God, that's so me. I can so relate.
With the homemade Cosmos and probably Domino's pizza. Like, it was a very typical Sex and the City parody, but I thought they did enough funny with it.
Didn't outstay its welcome. You got your gag and you moved on.
But I feel like it'd be better if I actually knew the characters. Yeah. So I barely watched it.
What, you're not a big Sex and the City fan?
I don't know which one I am.
Related to Ninja Turtles. Okay.
Shocking.
Charlotte is your Donatello.
Can he name all 4 Sex and the City characters?
Samantha is going to be a Raphael.
Yeah.
Hang on. Fuck, can I do this? Cynthia Nixon. Here's your Michelangelo. And what's the face is Leonardo?
The other one.
The main character.
Yeah, Sarah Jessica Horseface. That's low for it. I'm sorry, Sarah Jessica Parker.
That's mean. So you're a fan of Sex and the City, though? You watched that show?
Oh, I think, I've definitely seen my fair share of episodes.
Wait, Carrie? Carrie?
Carrie. Yeah. It's Carrie.
Carrie.
I gotta say it because in New York, it's Carrie. I feel like that spoof pretty much describes it. That's all you need to know.
If I'm not having sex by the end of this goat cheese quesadilla.
Yeah, pretty much.
How about you, BT? What's a moment from this episode that stood out to you a bit worse?
Artie made his fortune on something that converts a modem sound to easy listening.
How dated is that joke? I love it.
Yeah. There are 2 thoughts I had to mention. Extremely dated: America Online and dial-up internet.
Yeah. And another musical moment. Hey there, computer geek. You'll be connected in no time.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. I still maintain that's the separation for a millennial, is someone who doesn't remember dial-up. If you remember...
I went to my great aunt's house the other day,
Okay.
and she had dial-up internet.
Where did she even get that?
This is a few months ago. I was shocked. I was
Wow.
like, how do you live like this?
She needs to donate that modem to Old Sydney Town.
But it was so funny because I called her the other day and I was like, why can't I get through? What's going
She's on the
Like,
internet.
why isn't she home? Or is she on the phone to someone?
Oh my God.
It's the internet.
She's still living back in the day of BRB. Mum needs the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm amazed that works.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
It's gotta be 10 years old,
phased out.
Yeah, the guys come into her place to install the NBN. It's like, wait, really?
It's so funny.
That's actually pretty amazing. Yeah, it was a funny enough way for Artie to make his fortunes.
Yeah, and I just got a chuckle out of it.
Yeah, it was really. I thought that was a really clever one, actually.
Well, yeah, this episode sort of was inspired by... We watched The Front last week where they go back to their high school 10-year reunion and Artie said, I'm stinking rich.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, so this is actually the first time guest star of the episode, John Lovitz, came back to do Artie.
Oh, really?
Since the episode we watched with you, Maddie, The Way We Was, when they do the flashback episode. And that's the thing that stuck out to me about this episode. I think he was the worst part of it. I didn't think he delivered a good performance.
He didn't really have a lot to do other than being kind of creepy.
Well, he was in the episode a lot, but I thought, first of all, his voice was inconsistent from the first Artie's If, and it was also inconsistent within the episode.
I feel like once you've given the world, another triumph.
Yeah.
You can stop as an artist.
I did like when Marge was like, does that work on anyone? And he was like, no. But when it does, hello. I loved his voice in that. I thought that was really good.
So I think that's where John Lovitz is at his best voice acting wise, is when he has over-the-top characters to do.
Yeah, when they give him something to swing for the extremes, He's either deadpan or he's swinging for the extremes.
Well, that's it, because Artie is actually a deadpan character that was probably at his most hilarious when he was being a bit more animated. Stop looking at me. Don't you know how to dance?
Oh, my God. That was... I don't know, my favorite part of that whole episode. That was so funny, that dance scene.
He goes through them all, like the Charleston, the moonwalk. And
oh my gosh, it's so good. And just the reaction in all the crowds is so, so funny. Like, there's that one guy who just like looks scared and like backs away slowly. And then Chief Wiggum's there just smiling like happily. And he's like, he's going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
And then Professor Frank's there with goldfish disco shoes.
Is
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
He's got these like platform shoes.
Because I saw the shoes and I assumed Disco Stew. And then I panned up like, Frank, when did you get your groove back?
Disco Stew does have those shoes, if you remember.
Yeah, I can't get them out.
And Disco Stew was also at the prom. Apparently everybody was getting paid $1,000 to be there.
Except Disco Stew, who was there pro bono. So good.
Play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've seen this episode?
Maybe 5.
Yeah?
6.
What? Why? How? 1.
Really?
1?
Yeah.
1.
See?
Yeah.
No, you're the weird one here.
Okay,
Indeed.
well, fine. Guess the cyborg will just drink.
This is actually another one that I VHS taped. I watched this a lot back in the day, and it's sort of a weird thing where I felt like one day I watched it again and I was like, why have I watched this so much? Like, I've probably seen this episode 20 times, no joke. So how about the wackiness of this episode? What were some of the far-out cartoony moments?
All Homer's snoring, like his eyes vibrating, or snoring while awake.
So good.
I do like that opening. Yeah, Marge blocks his nose, he starts snoring through his mouth, blocks his mouth, starts snoring through his eyes. And then even later when he's snoring while awake, he's like holding his own mouth, but he's just in general vibrating.
Through the eyes. He snores through the eyes.
Yeah.
Great animation of the ants causing the fire. I love that. And then just the screams of the ants.
Yeah. They come out of the anthill and they're like, ah! And then they find the oil and they jump in. Ah! It's such great, oh God, like almost Minion-esque voice acting. I don't like that I refer to the Minions for that.
It's a fair enough cultural touch point at this point.
Yes, I'm trying to stay hip with the kids, yo.
Appealing to a broader audience.
Hey kids, I'm relevant.
Speaking of relevant cultural touchstones, there's a good MASH reference here.
Another musical moment.
Yeah, not only that, it's also when the helicopter's going up and it has Keep Your Clothes On, it's a reference to the MASH final.
What are they saying?
Just goodbye.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful and I cried.
Well, yeah, because in the MASH episode, not this one.
Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen is one of the best pieces of television ever made, ever.
Yeah, you guys were telling me about it the other week. I gotta check that out.
Another really awesome, wacky moment that I freaking loved was when Marge falls asleep at the wheel of the car and like falls asleep on the steering wheel. She's like, I'll get it!
Yeah, sounds the horn and just, I'll get it, rolls out of the car.
And then Bart and Lisa are like are steering the car and like Milhouse and Lisa are on the pedals.
Yeah.
That whole scene's so good.
Yeah, but John Zane O'Connor. Yeah, the pedal operating.
Yeah,
that's
both
not
just
how
pushing
alternately. No. But and also I didn't need the rest of the stuff about the harvest dance. I think you could have even cut it at Bart going, pedals, people.
I think that would have been enough.
I did like it though, because you know what as well? I felt like tie into our first episode of Milhouse trying to woo Lisa.
Well, speaking of tie-ins to our first episode, we have Homer chewing with his mouth open gets referenced again.
Oh, there
Can
we go.
we make 3?
I actually also noticed another thing. Oh my god, another common thread. The taxi that Marge gets taken home into is called Just Take Me Home Cab Company.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, so funny taxis playlist. So yeah, other wacky moments. Yeah, Marge and Homer just totally left the kids on Ziff's boat.
I do like
I love that.
Because you can't have a good storm off moment if you have to wait for the kids. So they just have to storm off. I also like Homer's, when he sees Marge and Artie kissing, he's like, but if Marge marries Artie, I'll never be born.
That was so fucking funny. And when Homer and Lenny arrive at the oil rig, they do a panning shot where, like, some people have got hook for hands, hook for feet. One person's just got a hook for a head.
Ah, yes, that's so good. And then at the end, they're like, that's how Faceless Joe lost his legs.
Yeah.
Faceless Joe.
I wonder if that's Faceless Joe with the hook.
Could be. It's not too wacky, but I feel like this has been memed where at the end Homer's like, oh, I can't take his money. I can't print my own money. I have to work for my money. I feel like I've seen that around on the shitposting sites.
Mm-hmm.
What about the kind of like fun, wacky moment where Grandpa just interjects with, what? Homer bowled a 300 game?
Yeah.
Grandpa, that...
Year and a half ago.
So meta and so stupid, but I did. Yeah, I enjoyed that reference. Kind of wish I did Hello Gutter, Hello Father before this one.
Yeah.
That's a very good teens episode. Yeah, I think that's all I had for wacky. Anyone? Yeah.
Again, not really wacky, but it has popped into my head numerous times over the years because when Homer's like, how much sex would be involved? Because if it's some.
Yeah.
I've had in my head, because if it's some.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm going to something I know what to do, it's like, right, well, how much dancing would be involved? Because if it's some.
And the other line of Homer's that I liked as well when in the negotiations is like, and no misdirected woo, which is any John Woo film.
Burn, John Woo.
That's all I can think about whenever anyone says misdirected woo. And I don't even know if that applies. What has John Woo done? What did John Woo do?
It's all like a lot of Hong Kong movies, so I don't know them by name. His is all, you know, like the lobby scene in The Matrix?
Yeah.
That is completely ripping off John Woo. Slow motion in leather trench coats with guns and doves, and that's John Woo.
Okay, yep. I know the Key and Peele sketch. God, I'm a terrible culture person.
Hey, previously we had to reference all Marlon Brando films. I think we all know where the references for that come from.
Yeah, true. Simpsons. So how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
There was a little bit that I really liked as a throwback when Artie once again gets his busy hands involved. The same strap of Marge's dress gets ripped.
A little continuity.
Yeah, a little kind
throwback,
of reference of it's a nice reflection of she made the right choice.
Yeah.
You know, here's the same jerk making the same mistake, making the same move, and she's made the same correct choice to go back to Homer.
You know what I liked is when they're on the boat with Artie, they're describing their marriage, and Homer's like, it's like being married to your best friend who lets you touch her boobs.
Yeah, it was very cute. Like, Homer's, primitive understanding of how his own marriage works, but still endearing.
Yeah, that was quite endearing. I'm like, long-term relationships. It happens.
Yeah. And even before it was like, hey, Marge, what's going on here? Hey, it's that guy who couldn't get any.
Yeah. So blunt. I love it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, he's probably doing it right now.
And you know what as well? I just love, like, when Marge and Homer are like, no, we're not going to do it. And then they go to sleep. They, like, you know, have marital relations.
One
and then
squeaking spring symphony coming right up.
Yeah. And then they like go to sleep, and then Homer wakes up in the morning, and Marge is like bloodshot eyes, like 'cause she hasn't sleep. And Homer's so like sweet and like you know actually concerned. He's like, oh honey,
he has that
did you
really
get any sleep?
Yeah, and that line is delivered really sweetly. He's like, oh, it's like I'm really sorry kind of tone to it. Yeah.
And then he's there snoring, and she's like, oh, you really need that surgery, don't you? And he's there like holding his vibrating eyes, like nodding. Oh,
but yeah, the detail on those veins as well gets me. Like, and honestly, I have some personal experience in this area because I am a fucking horrible snorer. Like, you've been in the same room as me when I've been sleeping.
You fell asleep on the couch once and stopped breathing. It was a terrifying like 20 seconds where I'm like, do I start CPR? I just sitting up? Do I have to knock you down? I don't. Oh God, thank God, he's breathing again. So yeah.
Well, a loose description of breathing. That sounds like. Are you a fan of the YouTube channel Will It Blend?
Yeah, you're like someone playing that in the background while a jackhammer attacks some tin cats.
Tin cats?
Yeah. If you can't jackhammer normal cats, what are you, a monster?
True. Yeah, so I've been in this situation with girlfriends and sort of woken up the next morning and it's like, slept like a baby. How are you doing, baby? Oh, baby.
Such a loud baby.
Anyway, this is going to be my quick plug for ResMed products. If you are a snorer, go out and get a sleep apnea machine. Oh my God, it'll change your life. I didn't actually know sleeping could be that good. And now, if I ever go to sleep without it, I honestly wake up and feel like I've been fucking mugged by tin cats.
They're getting their revenge.
Sponsors.
Yeah.
Sponsors. So yeah, ResMed, they're the fucking best. Go get a sleep consult today.
Yep. Sponsor us ResMed or
And
Chucks
Stan.
or
And
Stan or drugs. Any of those companies want to sponsor us.
Oh yeah, I like that at the beginning as well when sleep deprived Marge and Bart's
Yeah.
like, cool, mom's on drugs.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
serves them a pot plant with milk and gives Lisa magazine pancakes.
That was another great misdirect.
Mm.
Looked like a pancakes and she pulls it up. It's like Time magazine. It's fantastic. But ultimately, though, guys, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
I'm going to say yes.
I feel like it really did. I mean, I was really thinking about this and I was like, man, this is what the episode before was missing.
Mm?
I don't know what it is. It's just that Simpsons kind of ness.
Well, I'll say I still think the third act is probably the weakest part, much like the previous one, but there were more laughs, so I was having a good time.
Yeah.
And when you're having a good time, you don't mind as much if plot-wise things get let down.
Yeah, I know, not much technically happens in the third act, but I really do like the whole oil rig thing and bringing it back to heart. Oh my God, Lenny and Carl.
I know, the ultimate bromance.
Nothing on that helicopter for me.
Don't be so sure.
Also, shout out to Mount Carmel.
Yeah, which I didn't like, but I do like the follow-up of, what did Carl say? You know, I never mentioned it.
Yeah, because we find out he carved it for him. That's
One
great.
summer. I carved it one summer.
Yeah. But yeah, the characters were on point. I think the important thing with Homer in this episode is that he had reason to be jealous and
Yeah, it wasn't born of nothing or born of something lame.
or greed either, because
Yeah.
it could be very easy to do this indecent proposal storyline and have Homer go for the money just because he could get money, not because he needed it.
And also be like, oh, Marge, go again, and keep, whoring her out to Artie.
Ugh. But yeah, I know, I like that they say no, absolutely not, and then they have one more sleepless night, and it's like, okay, maybe we should do this.
Yeah, they need the money for his other surgeries as well, which I loved, his mid-convulsion.
Yeah.
It's plus 2 other surgeries.
I was wondering what you thought of that, because you generally hate that immediate idiot joke.
The actions were so, but also it was really quick, and that was a good enough line. But yeah, the immediate convulsions was a bit. Yeah, but I mean, it was over with quickly, and it was to do with his heart as well, which we've seen before.
True.
He has problems with that.
Mm-hmm. And how?
But yeah, if he was and I also need that brain surgery because my
That would
That
have
would
yeah,
sound
that would have
terrible.
been awful.
keeping it vague in other surgeries, I think, is what kept it alive.
Simpsons were available to not only punch up your episodes, but punch them down as well. You want me to make your jokes worse? Hit me up, yo. At me. But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sure. What playlist are we going to put it in?
Artie Ziff.
Yep.
You could also do Lenny and Carl. Oh, Carl and Lenny, that just sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Really does.
Lenny and Carl bromance.
Yep.
It's like Scratchy and Itchy. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Definitely. The bromance, the ever-evolving bromance of Lenny and Carl.
I also just love as well how that whole Lenny and Homer team up happens just because
Yeah.
Carl's in the bathroom and comes out and he's like, what'd I miss? And they're both gone
I
forever.
do like how many times you see Lenny's go, shrugs.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just like, I'm just here.
So apathetic.
I'm just going along with it. Yeah, I'll have a quick and pointless death.
Yeah, that's the death for me.
Put it in a Dondelinger playlist.
Oh, Dondelinger. I love this fucking scene.
Yes, that
And,
was actually good.
Have you been drinking? Only for the last 25 years.
Yeah, which I want to bring up. Again, proof of how old is Homer.
Oh, okay. So he would have left high school at 18.
43. I already did the math.
Oh, there we go.
Quick maths. Quick maths.
Quick maths I did earlier so I could seem
2
smart.
plus 2 is 4 minus 1. That's 3. Quick maths.
7.
No. No, yes. The
What?
song? You know.
No, what?
What song?
The song
7.
by Big Shark.
By what?
Big Shark?
Matt's not hot.
7. What?
How do you guys not know this song? What have you... All right. Guys, this is a big meme.
Okay, well.
You got to send us round because we do like to pride ourselves on knowing all the dankest memes.
Meme speed is just increased ridiculously.
That's how you got to get to the kids, is through their memes.
Or through their brains.
Boom. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
So, we're almost at the end here. Maddie, is there anything you'd like to change about this episode?
I think I'd like to change Homer and Marge's reunion.
Yeah?
Because I feel like it was sort of patched up because of Artie, and I think like Homer and Marge's relationship is stronger than that. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I feel like Marge going down and talking to Homer and like reasoning with him would have, like, if they had a more like heartfelt dialogue, that could have repaired the relationship rather than going through Artie. Because I feel like that's where it kind of got let down. That ending didn't really feel as cutesy or as like, you know, heartfelt as it could have.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I do like the moment of Artie going, "You won," but yeah, also this was like a problem born out of a misunderstanding. So
yeah, it was saved by Artie, not by Marge.
Yeah, if anything, Marge was the victim there. So
totally.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, totally fix that up. BT, how about you? Is there anything you'd like to change?
Just more better the third bit.
Again, we're available to punch down your scripts.
Punch up, punch down, punch sideways.
Yeah, I can't really summarize what I don't like about everything from the prom onwards. I think maybe there's just a...
That's why I just said more better.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know quite what's off, but it's a little bit... Maybe it's a little fast. Maybe it's
frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he's leaving town forever and there's a video camera scene, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it is funny. Sorry, it is.
Marge, if you're watching this, I worked out how to use the video recorder.
Also, don't worry about the kids. I'll drop them with Patty and Selma. Patty and Selma, screw that.
Yeah.
Just throw the camera.
Like, I think maybe it's just sort of that disconnect. It's a indecent proposal thing, and then there's the prom, and then all of a sudden there's a fire on an oil rig.
Yeah.
And although I liked a lot of that material, it's just like, oh, we need to ramp up the drama in this episode. Let's do this.
Has anyone seen Indecent Proposal? How did that end?
I have in my notes that it is a movie.
Yeah, I believe Demi Moore's in it, and that's about all I know.
Oh,
I think. The Demi Moores.
Demi Semi-Moore.
Recast it with Demi Lardner, and you've got a reboot.
This is Bunch. She has too many bones. My body's wrong. Yeah, we already went through all the guest stars and music, so it's time for BT. Do you have any other notes?
The bus is Succubus.
Yeah, suck you bus.
Yeah, I liked that as a bit.
Yeah.
When the helicopter lands, Bart's like, helicopter, let's approach with caution. And like, I shouldn't like that, but I liked that. And Homer's like, unguarded breakfast, the last taboo.
Sweetest taboo.
Sweetest. Well, last sweetest. Isn't it the same thing? Ultimately, no, it's not. Shut up, B. All right. And finally, that newspaper that hits Marge. Sleep important, says experts. Slow news day.
Grip Springfield. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. How about you, Maddie? Any other notes that you'd like to mention?
I love the very, very opening scene of comic book guy sleeping in his room with his Chewbacca pajamas on and like his Mark Hamill signed picture and his Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, Jar Jar, everyone hates you but me.
Yeah. I like that so much. Like, of course, he is such a contrarian that he'd be the one person in the world that would love Jar Jar.
I just love, like, I think the detail in that animation, like, even to the point where his pajamas, like, don't fit him quite properly. So good.
Yeah, it's the only other character we fly by during that whole dream sequence. So they were like, this is too much fun. We have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any other notes?
I like that Marge was like, whoa, Delilah.
Yeah.
What saying is that?
Who doesn't love a bit of Neil Diamond?
Oh my God, there are so many musical moments in this episode.
Sorry, everyone, I am giving Maddie a knowing look of, you knew that was, even if you didn't know.
No, that was what?
Neil Diamond. Whoa.
I thought it was Tom Jones.
I'm wrong.
Ha! I've redeemed myself partially.
Take that.
Never.
Oh, and I liked how the sea captain was like, Artie. I mean, Artie.
That was a joke that I hated myself for how much I liked it, but also it's pretty good.
I just, sea captain, his
Our jokes.
He's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode we did as well actually had sea captain.
That's true. He ran the projector. Yes. Sea Captain playlist.
Yes, more sea captain all the time.
All right. It is time for my final note time. That's final.
Get ready for rapid notes.
All right. We will. Fuck. Why did I write Scoots do it for free?
No, are you thinking? Yeah, because when he went to Dr. Hibbert's office, he's
yeah.
like, how much is it? And he's like, here's my counter offer. For free. It's like,
A great little play on the old passing the paper with an amount.
there was also the part about, I haven't had this little sleep since little Barty had the scoots.
Oh, that's why I wrote Scoots.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a scooting joke where they didn't actually animate it.
I liked it too. It was really cute. And she called him little Barty.
Yeah.
Oh, adorable.
So cute.
And yeah, I liked the Hey There Computer Geek. That reminded me of Hey There Blimpy Boy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the original song is. Right in.
I'm nearly there. It's bugging me now.
I like when Artie lands his copter in the Simpsons' backyard and, yeah, he sees Marge and she goes, I'm married. And he's like, what? Is the marriage consummated?
Holds 3 kids.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. And I love how Marge goes, I'll get used to it. Like I got used to saying Courtney Cox Arquette, which is so much funnier now. 17 years removed from this episode coming out. Poor David Arquette. Well, he was at least once the WCW World Heavyweight Champion.
For like, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, in the last year of that company's existence. It was like they went under new management who were doing desperate, stupid storylines like bringing on David Arquette to be the world champion for a while.
That's such a weird shark jump.
Yeah.
It's a shark jump you feel will get less ratings.
It was amazing. Amazing time in terrible wrestling. And then when Homer's at the prom as well, oh my God, I'm at the prom. And once again, I don't have a date. Poor homie. Did you find out what Hey There Blimpy Boy is?
Hey There Georgie Girl, swinging down the street so fancy free by the Seekers.
By the Seekers?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Let's raise our goggles in victory. An excellent way to start off the...
Rue Goldberg of Fire.
Yeah. Delivered by the ants.
Mm-hmm.
Homer picked up a Dying for Dummies book before he left, and he does a little Willy Wonka tribute where he pulls Lenny down from the ladder and said, "We said good day." What?
She's raising her hand. I don't know how to deal with this.
You
We're not used to
can't use
manners.
the word sex on the internet. That
true.
was a good
Watch
line.
me.
It's true. Have you ever seen it? I haven't.
Oh, it was so like early noughties the way that she also went, don't write him a letter, email female.
Yes. And just like as well, like how it goes into the weird server in the dank room with the flies and the farmer.
The little Cisco beat up modem
Yeah.
server thing, yeah. All right, guys, it is time to rank this thing. Maddie, you start.
You know what? I'm going to go for gold.
Go.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there was some pure gold in this episode. There were some really great moments and I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if it was just because like after watching that episode earlier, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was just, very unentertaining. This was just so entertaining and there was just some really sweet moments. So I think it had gold in there.
Good old gold. Okay, BT, what do you say?
I am surprised I'm giving this silver. I thought this was honestly going to be a Patisafale bronze. But no, I actually had a lot of fun on this one. I am just as surprised as I am.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun to be had. I got some good jokes. I got some laughs. Like I said, the third part lags a little bit, but then you don't care. So yeah, silver it up.
Yeah, I'm also going silver. I feel like this is really starting to highlight sort of what episodes for me that I give silver is that this episode had a lot of good spots that I thought that is so excellent. But then just a few grating moments that just really do bring it down, unfortunately. Like I am almost there with gold, but I feel like it is a pretty damn solid episode. So yeah, silver from me. And that will make this episode a shiny silver all around. This will be joining other such shiny silvers as Monty Can't Buy Me Love, where Mr. Burns steals the Loch Ness Monster. Children of a Lesser Clod, where Homer opens the daycare center after his knee gets all goopy. Weekend at Burnsy's, the big pod episode that I am very fond of, and Springfield Up, where they do like the 7-Up documentary style, but Simpsons-ized. Before we leave this thing, is that reputation justified?
I've already done the theme song. You know you get one per episode. Just cut me
Is that
back in.
reputation justified? Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you owe me royalties now.
So, half-decent proposal. Robert Canning of IGN.
Old mate, what's up?
I think I need to, when we recognize the reviewers, like give them like boxing nicknames, like Robert the Soft Touch Canning. As we know, IGN go a little easy, as they did in this one, where he gave it a 9 out of 10.
All right. See, like, I know I went for gold, but like 9 out of 10 is very different.
The writing was smart and tight, and instead of a B storyline, the half hour was filled out with a number of great throwaway gags. I feel like he contradicts himself. Like, in lieu of a B story, throwaway stuff. And also, in a separate review, IGN shows Half Decent Proposal as the best episode from the 13th season.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, reviewer R.L. Schaefer called it one of the season's gems, with good reason. Yeah, I don't know about best of 13, albeit it is ranking equal first with Hunker Hunker, Burns in Love, and Weekend at Burnsies.
I mean, I remember the one where Homer gets his jaw wide shut as being pretty good. There's also the return of the Vegas Wives, I believe, is on this one.
Yeah, that's not great.
I remember it being okay, so, you know.
So anyway, we'll keep you posted on this situation. Was this really the best that season 13 have to offer? All right, Maddie. So in the early days of the podcast, we used to let the guests choose which episode they'd like to watch.
What glory days they were.
Unfortunately, it meant we burnt through a lot of the best ones early on.
Hubris!
And so, yeah, naturally I went mad with power and I started selecting all the episodes. But, you know, I'm deciding to give a little bit of the power back to you.
Power to the people.
That's right.
It's actually more just you. It's power to the person.
I am the people.
Just like the John Lennon song, power to that person.
Don't point at me. I've got
that
nothing.
guy over there.
Again, still not me.
I'm a representative of the people.
So it is still somewhat limited. You have your choice of 3 episodes. You have the PTA Disbands. That's the one where the PTA has disbanded.
That's a cool one.
Scenes from a class struggle in Springfield. That's Marge in the Chanel dress. Or Lisa the Iconoclast, where she exposes the truth of Jebediah Springfield. So, Krabappel and Skinner arguing over the school and the strike and all that. The Chanel dress.
And that's where Marge is the substitute teacher, isn't she?
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And that's where Jasper and Abe teach the class as well, and he gets his beard caught. Yeah, let's watch that one.
Yeah, PTA has disbanded. We will be back.
The PTA is suspended.
And we are back, and we just reviewed our final episode for the evening. This was from the very classic years. This was Season 6, Episode 12, The PTA Disbands. First released in April of 95. It was the 124th episode of The Simpsons. Directed by Swinton O. Scott III. a real name.
No, it's not.
Is that?
Swinton O. Scott. His first name is Swinton.
Get out of town. I shall name my firstborn Swinton.
What's like the Aussie nickname version?
Swinny?
Swinny.
Swinno.
Tony?
He's a pack of Swinny Blues. And it was written by one of my favourite Simpsons writers, Jennifer Crittenden. In this episode, yeah, this is the one where the PTA is disbanded. Guys, what did you think?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of my favorite quotes in this episode, and I did not even realize.
This was a meme factory before the word meme was a thing.
Yeah, just so many pre-notes I made in this one. I had to like pre-note 2 scenes ahead because I wanted to look something up.
Yeah. I started laughing so hard when I was like, yes, I know it's coming up.
Yeah.
I love this scene.
And it's equally as satisfying as you remember.
Even more satisfying. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, this is the warm bowl of porridge on a cold day after a rough day at school, and you're all wet and dried out and you're in your flannel pajamas, and it's like, hello, comfort, my old friend.
I've come to nuzzle with you again. All right, so getting into the questionnaire. BT, what is a moment from this episode that sticks out to you for better or better?
I don't even know where to start. It's so many great options. But if I have to go with something, it's because it's staring me right at my face.
Yeah.
I was often quoted in my household of, hello, Mrs. Pommel Horse. I'd like to get down now.
Oh my god.
That's so cute.
I had to put 2 up arrows next to that because it's just that great.
Just delivery and in that pacing of like the second that the teachers have got the license to go on strike.
Just totally abandon the kids.
Yeah, I think just how well packed and well paced this episode is because just so much happens. You have the PTA disbanding, all the anarchy that causes, the kids behaving without the regular authority of school there, then Marge comes to teach, and then they get it just so much in so little time. It's amazing, yet nothing feels rushed.
No. All the mischief that Bart gets up to as well. I feel like I didn't even realize how much he gets up to. It's so funny.
It is such a Bart episode in that way.
And this is an episode that does keep on giving, because I didn't know for a very long time the reaction in the bank scene where he's like, I don't have your money, it's in Fred's house, and Bill's house is from It's a Wonderful Life.
Because that is such like a Jimmy Walker impression, isn't
Jimmy
it?
Stewart, and that's it's replacing the names, but he pretty much says that in the movie. And also they reference Tech War, written by goddamn brain. Come on.
Oh, come on. You're almost there.
I know.
It's so much better than you could imagine. Because, I've heard, the children should learn about Tech War sooner or later. And growing up, I just thought it was...
I just assumed it was like High Tech War, but no, it's William Shatner's sci-fi series.
Yeah, no shit.
Amazing.
I remember, because we actually watched this episode only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so Simpsons Index fans, after watching The Simpsons critically, we like to unwind by just watching some Simpsons.
Yeah. And so, this was one of them, and you were like, wonder what Tech War is. Oh my God, Shatner wrote it.
So funny. I didn't know that. Learning something new every day.
20 years after this episode came out.
Simpsons, constantly teaching.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Maddie, so what is a moment from this episode that stood out to you for better or betterer?
Oh my God, Jasper teaching is so funny.
The perfect substitute for Lisa.
Literally. Just a scene where he gets his beard caught in the pencil sharpener. I knew it was coming, and still it just it tickles me in all the right places.
Just grandpa's what if I but what if
And by that last crank, it's just gotten so close. There is only a face there left.
It's so good, and just how he legs it out at the end. Oh, it's great.
And just the line before that as well. It's like, my teacher confiscated everything made of tin.
And the kids, 3 kids went home sick because of the smell of his ointment. So good. And then, of course, his introduction scene is the classic paddling scene, which is so, so good every time.
That's a paddling.
Paddling the school canoe. Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
But I like as well staring at my sandals that's what all the kids are doing. They are already so bored with this thing.
Unless there's something just freaky weird about his sandals.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, as soon as he said that, I was like, why is he wearing sandals?
Yeah.
That is such a weird footwear choice.
I think when you reach a certain age, you just go with whatever footwear you want. Like socks with sandals, because fuck the world.
I don't know. I just feel like old men should be in little slippers, little grandpa slippers.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I would be in slipper loafers for sure.
I appreciate this grandpa running around in sandals.
Yeah.
But I get that, you get to the age where I think it's just as you get along, you just give less of a fuck. And, props to my dad. This was about 4 years ago, and went up to visit him. Oh, you're wearing Crocs. And he goes, yeah, they're great. Do you like them?
Well, they're
you do you, Dad.
I was about to say, you do you, old man. Well done.
But in fairness, he lives up on the river, so he gets wet a lot. So they are just a functionally good shoe for him to have.
Don't justify the choice.
But it's still Crocs. Just on Jasper in the episode as well, I think this was the perfect substitute teacher to bring in, because Lisa throughout this episode sort of went very stir crazy.
Oh yeah.
And then for when school finally comes back, to have a teacher that does not challenge her, I think is perfect.
I love as well, her first thing is to go to her emergency strike kit where she's got Miss Hoover's voice recorded, and it's just, is that gum? Is that gum?
Yep.
Is that gum?
And a pack of cafeteria grade fish sticks.
Yeah.
This was actually pre-Lisa the vegetarian as well, so yeah, she would have still been eating the cafeteria fish
No,
sticks.
because didn't they swap lunch?
This was in her
it's just the
preparedness
lunch
kit.
notes.
But yeah, I did love that scene in the cafeteria where I think I got your lunch. And
I'm
yeah,
very proud.
Speaking
Please
of
behave.
cafeteria, one of my favorite lunch lady Doris lines, there's very little meat in these gym mats.
that is so fantastic.
Oh,
Good.
posh posh. Your newspaper provides children with much needed inks and roughage.
Yeah, essential inks.
I love that. I don't care what you say. I can still taste the newspapers.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. And yeah, I'll say that's the moment from the episode that stood out to me is the central conflict between Skinner and Krabappel. I fucking loved this.
Because neither one really seemed unreasonable.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's just such like a reality of life, like teachers and, the school board are constantly fighting about these money issues, which public schools have. It's very real.
A very real problem even right now. You keep striking out there, American teachers.
Damn straight.
And Australian teachers.
And Australian teachers, but they're not making news that I pay attention.
Yeah, Australian teachers, get out there and strike. We need more local news.
Yeah, you have the support of the Simpsons Index, the one true Simpsons podcast.
We're just leaning next to our van with the on strike
Yeah.
Simpsons Index.
We'll honk for them if we drive by.
And also because I love cookies.
Love that line at the beginning of the episode where they go to like the fancy principal gives the lady at the
At Disney. At Disney Historical Site, yeah.
yeah, gives her a tip and he's like, make sure they get a little bit of extra education.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, Principal
Love
Valiant.
The Princey Awards, those things are rigged. Yeah, that was a great contrast as well. And again, just how well this episode set up itself. Krabappel had problems with Skinner's management from the get-go. She was complaining all about the bus and all that.
Yeah, it's a great example of establishing a story with jokes.
Yes.
Watching the bus have to, pull out the kids' jackets a half mile before the stop so they could slow down.
Yeah.
The braking procedure, they've practiced this.
So
Oh, yeah.
good. And just the old school bus, like
Yeah.
the fact that a leaf falls on it and it explodes.
It's an alternative for the straw that broke the camel's back, the leaf that exploded the school bus. But yeah, the kids are playing in the hole again. And
Yeah, Otto with the credit card.
oh, yeah.
And a mint for after.
I love how later he's like guzzling the gas and he goes,
Yeah.
damn, I shouldn't have eaten the mint first. Like,
Yeah.
Classic rookie mistake.
It was actually a joke I did not get as a kid. And
No, me either.
I asked my brother to explain it to me, and he goes, that's siphoning. And you know what? I've got to clean out my fish tank tomorrow. Why don't you help me? And I'll teach you all about siphoning. And it's like,
you
oh, this is a
learn it
great
the
learning
hard
experience.
way.
Yeah.
Wow, did he then get you to whitewash his fence?
But he used to have like this really tall fish tank. It was like only about that wide, but it was like super tall. So yeah, you had to siphon it out to clean it. And so yeah, he's teaching me how to siphon, and he goes, now watch out, you want to stop right before the water hits you. So yeah, I inhaled a big gulp of
Fish poop.
very pooey fish water. Yeah.
Learning curve.
I was learning, that's right. Yeah, before I move on, just wanted to make the point, so what I really liked about the central conflict with Krabappel and Skinner in this episode is that it was really touching on these social issues, much in the same way last X to Springfield when they were doing like all the union workers strike on that, like really touching on these social issues in an important yet hilarious way.
Yep.
And yeah, showing the disconnect between management and workers and how to resolve it.
And getting a plot through jokes is just such a brilliant, fluid way to get your story rolling.
Yeah.
I think that debate scene in front of the PTA is so good.
It's fantastic.
Even like to the point where when Edna comes on stage and Skinner's the only one that boos her just quietly.
Boo yourself.
But yeah, when it essentially comes down to like Edna going, come on. And then he does the finger thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
when he does the finger thing.
Oh.
Finger thing means the taxes.
It's that one voice that you hear throughout all the arguments. It's like, oh, well, she's got a point. Oh, no, the taxes.
I have to raise the taxes.
It's so good.
This scene as well, when the guy jumps out the window, the PTA has disbanded. So,
Cartoon wackiness.
yeah,
Comes back
very
through
much.
the window.
Snaps.
So, this was actually a big elaborate joke on Jennifer Critton, the writer of this episode, because when she was initially pitching it, she said, I think the most shocking thing and the most exciting thing we could do in this story is have the PTA disband. And the writers were like, That sounds so fucking boring. And so even though the PTA never disbands in this episode, that was the title. And also they had that guy freaking out as like a little jab.
That's
to
so
her. It's like,
funny.
oh, it's so shocking. A PTA disband. Jump out the window.
A great joke from ripping on one of their own. That's beautiful.
And just the way that guy flies back into the... Like, that's a second-story building.
My mistake.
So play count. How many times before tonight do you think you've seen this episode?
Oh, gosh. 12?
12, yeah?
10, 15?
10, 15, 12?
Many.
How about you?
The finger thing means like 40. I don't know, a lot.
Yeah, season 6, I still remember being in grade 4, and I had my little Simpsons... I had a lot of Simpsons VHSs, but I remember this particular one, which was mostly season 6 episodes, had like Lisa's wedding, and this, Homer versus Patty and Selma. I've just got so much nostalgia for season 6. Yeah, absolutely. So how about the wackiness of this episode? Yeah, guy jumping out the window to sort of Superman his way back in.
I like as well... when Marge comes into the room to be the substitute teacher, and Milhouse is like, "Oh, Bart, don't forget about the booby trap," and he runs and swipes the tack off her chair, and then he's like, "No, I meant the other one," and runs and jumps and pushes her out of the way as a huge log comes swinging in, and then Marge goes, "Oh, kids have been doing that since my day." What?
Yeah.
I've always wondered if she was sincere in that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Totally sincere.
I don't take anything but total sincerity from Marge for most lines.
Yeah.
It's the old Mississippi battering ram.
No, we did that to my old teacher. Her face was so red.
Also, some really great wackiness. I love when they went to the, Civil War reenactment place and they were like...
Well, the 9th Bearded Infantry were sunning and fluffing their beards.
Yes! And then they're like, "Oh, but the Springfield Brigade was too brave to accept their surrender."
And heroically slaughtered their foes while they begged for mercy.
They're like, "Oh, I bet our muskets will work against their white flags."
Yeah, puny white flags, yeah. It's so funny. And, especially because of how desperately begging for mercy that the other side are, we need leeches and hacksaws to cut off our gangrenous limbs.
And I like how that spirit continues today when they're like, "Hey, they're trying to learn for free. Get them!"
Yeah. Use our phony guns as clubs. And the way that they were doing the reenactments as well, stabbing in the part of the arm between the chest and the one guy who had the fake axe in his head. Oh, it's just so good.
Oh my gosh. And of course, the lead into that whole scene is, the tour guide lady's talking about her cannon, and she's like, they're very sensitive to loud noises, and it's pointing towards
the guard tower.
The support leg.
Yeah, and she fully...
That soft, convincing voice. It's a good thing we're not firing it today because it's pointing the support beam of that guard tower.
It's so good, and they fully set it up, and then it gets bumped by the bus, and nothing happens, and then... But of course, for safety reasons, we don't keep the cannon loaded. It's just common sense.
It's a phenomenally great misdirect with anticlimax. Oh god, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah, and it's something that we noticed back in the last week's episode for Homer Loves Flanders is that this is actually a genius way to do an extremely funny bit for actually a pretty low cost of animation. Nothing actually happens in this bit, and it's fucking hilarious.
A cannon falls over.
Still, they don't even need to animate that. Just tilt the animation cell and, rip off the bit with the wheel.
Yeah, you're so right. It's just the simplest joke. And I feel like it's one of those jokes as well, let me retell that joke for you.
Yeah.
And it probably doesn't come across as, hilarious, but when you watch it, the setup, the lead up, the pacing, it's so well timed.
Yeah, that's right. And it's the shame of the HD area. They've got the money to throw around to do, and the animation skills now to do extended animation bits, but the wiring's weak, so it sucks.
You know what they say, more money, more shitty episodes.
That's the saying. And another bit of wackiness with simple animation is Lisa's perpetual motion machine.
Just keeps going faster and faster.
In this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics. Again, Simpsons teaching me stuff. I know that now.
I know what thermodynamics is. And then there's a rapid fire shot. Lisa like, grade me. I'm a teacher spent never so smart. Grade me.
Yeah.
And then and Bart needs boundaries. There's something so unwholesome about flying a kite at night.
Hello, mother.
That was so creepy. That just really plays into what I loved about the character study into this episode. What happens to all these kids when they're deprived
Without
of this?
structure, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Jimbo just hanging out with his mum on the couch watching soap operas?
Yep.
So cute.
It's such a good contrast to everything else happening as well. I love that bit.
Well, we discovered in Homer versus Patty and Selma that, he also liked the Joy Luck Club as well. And, Nelson as well was into fame. So, yeah, the bullies do have a softer side in,
Oh, yeah. To the library!
in the content they consume. Any other wacky moments you want to mention?
Oh, Moe's big ears.
Oh, that was so sad.
It's my big ears, isn't it? He's got such tiny ears.
I know.
Followed up by Leopold.
Oh.
Here's one substitute you're not going to screw with.
Oh, isn't he a gem every time he comes on?
Yeah, another great misdirect, though.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Purple Monkey dishwasher? So good. Again,
Yeah.
another great quote.
Oh yeah, this was a saying in my household for a long time.
Yeah.
Just randomness.
Yeah.
It's also great, budding musicians out there. If you want to learn 7/8 Purple Monkey Dishwasher, Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's an even breakdown of 7 syllables. It's very good. 7 syllables. That's 5. There you go. There's one for 5.
God damn it.
Sorry, we're being wanky musicians again.
Yeah.
You don't understand what's going on.
Like I did with the theme song to this
Yeah, isn't
podcast.
that 7/8?
It's in 7/8, yes.
Whee!
And any budding
Purple
music.
Monkey Dishwasher. Purple Monkey
Guys, I can barely
Dishwasher.
clap in time. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is getting a bit out of hand.
All right, enough of our crap. All right, so how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel the bumps?
I felt the make strike go longer. No, I think it's not a bumps episode, but it is one of conflict. And again, it doesn't feel like either Skinner or Krabappel are wrong.
Yeah.
Skinner doesn't have the budget. We know he's a dedicated educator who would provide for these kids if he could, but he's been, constricted and is just doing what he can. And Krabappel is also making fair demands of cost of living increase. And, this pointer is so worn down, it's down to a nub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it still
points.
You're saying before the episode didn't feel rushed. I will say the ending did, because they just sort of rushed that resolution because they kind of had to. They ran out of time.
But I love that ending as well. I
Yeah.
think it's that's a really good ending, and a really good way to reset it as well. Just being
definitely.
problem solved.
I think it works the fact they both come to the conclusion at the same
Yeah.
time. Like, hey!
Yeah.
Prisoners.
And as well, children, just ignore the murderer.
Yeah, total wackiness, but
There is some great little wackiness there of surprise party for me at Principal Skinner's office. Well, all right, me go to my office. It's highly irregular, but okay.
So yeah, not the typical heart, but you got the sense of the problem, and the Bart was trying so desperately to keep it running, even though he didn't realize how much he needed this.
Mm.
Well, it's just because Marge comes into his classroom and he doesn't want to destroy her emotionally and psychologically like most teachers.
I love that. I think that scene in the dining table probably has the most heart for me. Like
Oh, yeah.
when they're talking about their days and Lisa's so upset because Jasper in the pencil sharpener, and then Marge is like, exhausting. It took the children 40 minutes to locate Canada on the map.
Marge, anyone can miss Canada, all tucked away down there.
And then just at the end, like, Bart gets so angry, he's like, I guess I'll just have to go into the crawl space again. And then she's just beating it with a broom. And I feel like that's just such like a nice insight into home life.
Yeah. No,
with an
it's
8-year-old boy who's
And I think
naughty.
it's all in the delivery of Bart's, well, I guess I'll just have to get into the crawl space again. I peaked on that one, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can fix that in post. But it's probably not something he likes to do, but he knows it annoys her, so...
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the way he states it, it's like, oh, I'm going to do that thing you don't like.
Yeah. You know what, though? I think he's in the crawl space eating a lot of drywall.
Dear rat boy.
Yeah. But ultimately, though, did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
It felt like the PTA disbanded.
Yeah, everyone's on point. Like,
I feel like it sets the standard of like what an episode of Simpsons
Yeah,
is.
and I love the
Definitely.
reflection of what these characters are doing in this unusual situation, just without the structure of school.
yeah.
Lisa loses her perspicacity.
I know. It's always in the last place you look.
I like that mostly because my dad used to always say that when I was looking for something. It's like, well, it's always in the last place you look.
It's such a parent
Because
thing
you stop
to say.
looking
You're
after you
like,
find
"Oh."
it. So one day I found something, I kept looking just to prove him wrong.
And how long did you continue to look for?
5 whole minutes.
Oh, you sure stuck it to him.
Yep, I'm sure he feels that in his dreams.
Take that, Dad.
I love you, Dad.
Yeah, feeling like an episode. Yeah, I liked how Homer was just casually distant in this episode as well.
Yeah, I like that it wasn't like, quick, how can I make this about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got the one line of, how dare they dump our kids off on us.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like in a worser episode, yeah, they would have set up Homer to be the teacher and, wacky shenanigans. But in this instance, like I said before, Jasper was the perfect foible for Lisa, so much in the same way Marge is for Bart.
And how can we forget Frank?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. And just his impatience with the kindergarten
As soon
children.
as they ask a question, yes, what is it?
You won't enjoy it on as many levels as I do.
The colors, children.
Yeah, I love that. Again, being a music theorist, you run into that a lot. It's like, oh my God, it's so amazing, the major minor interchange. And then it's like, dude, it's a song. Just dance already.
Never.
That's the other thing in terms of character integrity. So we're bending Milhouse a little bit in this episode. He's almost taking up the Lisa role.
But I love that as well. I think it's such Milhouse's luck that the minute there's a strike and he has all this free time, he comes home to his parents and we've already hired you a tutor.
Yep. This was when Kirk was still a big wheel down at the cracker factory.
Yeah,
So
they had money to splash around, you can tell.
yeah, definitely. And he gets into it. He gets really into the Teapot Dome scandal.
Yeah, and even at the end as well, I like how that thread had continued where he made the reference to the polarizing ions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love that Milhouse's book smarts actually don't really even play into the resolution at the end.
No.
They just sort of lead them to the office and lock them in there.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, but I like how it has the assumed scene of well, we just need to put them together. I've got it.
Yeah.
And that's all it took.
Yeah. The surprise party and just go to your office.
It's highly irregular.
All right, so yes or no,
Yep.
would you watch this again?
Nah.
It's true, I've heard she hates fun.
Yes, I would probably watch it again.
Yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to watch it again. What playlist does this go in? Springfield Elementary.
Mm-hmm. Noiseland Arcade.
Oh, definitely.
What about just any of the Jimbo, Kearney,
Yeah.
Rolf?
Any
Dolph,
insights
Dolph.
to the
Dolph,
bullies?
my
Yeah.
bad.
That's actually an interesting one because they do a bit of a vocal fuck up on this one. When the bullies are beating up Bart for the money, Dolph's got Jimbo's voice and Kearney's got Dolph's voice.
I just also love how they're like, why isn't my mom seeing this? We created a diversion. It's just Kearney dancing it's not even a good dance. It's that's a very nice jig, Kearney.
That's right.
Isn't dancing so much better than bullying?
But yeah, I love how Bart's world's been put upside down, that he needs to hide and avoid being out in the yard for fear of retribution because his mother's now the teacher.
Yeah.
Even that line where he's like, Mom, kids are taking my lunch money and I need that money for candy.
Aww.
It's so cute.
I want to get him some candy right now.
I know.
Did you guys have any friends whose teacher was the mum or dad?
Yes,
Yeah?
a couple of kids at my school, actually.
Yeah.
I went to a private school, and so
Oh, you were Principal Valiant was your headmaster? Sorry.
but the headmaster's kids, of course, came to the school. So
Oh, wow.
Yep. And we all know my dad was a teacher at your school, so that
Yep.
was weird.
Was your mum a teacher at his school?
No, that's a sitcom plot, but yeah. yeah. BT's dad, Mr. Calloway, was a woodwork teacher at my school. I think I only ever had him as a substitute a couple of times, though.
That's right. No, I've met many people over the years because my dad was very much into strict uniform discipline. Who was just, hey, I've had your dad as a teacher. He's really strict on shoes. Yeah, he does that at home too, don't worry.
Where are your shoes, son?
Yep. No, yeah, if we had our shoes off, it'd be like, wear your shoes.
Shoes are the foundation to a good soul.
It was funny one day because, yeah, me and Mr. Calloway, I still call him that. Yeah, we worked out the connection at some point, and then yeah, I got a free pass on all of his, because he used to walk around the quad and, bust people for uniform during recess and lunch and stuff. And one day he was giving some kid shit for, wrong socks. It was, really innocuous. And then I walked by, wrong jumper, wrong pants, wrong shoes, probably wrong socks as well, and a beanie. I just looked like a homeless person that wandered into the school.
Eating out of a can of beans.
Hey, Mr. Calloway. Oh, hello, Elliot. How are you? And yeah, Tim, the other kid, was just pointing and what the yeah, it was great.
Corruption.
Teacher's pet.
Yeah. Mrs. Simpson, parentheses, Bart's mummy.
Yeah, that was so
He
cute.
should be
Waves hello to him. And again, from
hello.
I love
Over
that
here.
because I love that because from her perspective, it's adorable, and of course she would do that. But from Bart, this is death by embarrassment.
Again, yeah, this is playing into why this is the perfect foible for Bart, because she's so honest and direct and totally surface.
Oblivious.
Yeah, Mom, you're embarrassing me. No, it's not embarrassing to say I love my little Barty.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we've already seen in this episode that Bart is calculated and manipulative as well,
What do you mean the bank is out of money?
You don't think underneath that all he's just a sweet, sensitive little boy?
No. Yeah, as well. There's so many good lines in that scene. Yeah, Skinner said you wouldn't have the wontons to do it. And
Just when Bart is going to leave that first day when they have the strike on, and so she's got a crowbar. It's Bart, leave that crowbar behind. You know I don't like you prying and jimmying.
What about Lisa? If you don't like your job, you don't strike. You just go in every day and do it really half-assed. That's the American way.
I drew a little American flag next to us, so I'd remember that.
We should be half an ass.
Oh, damn it. BT, is there anything you'd like to change about this episode?
Oh, hell's nah.
Nah? Maddie?
I don't think I'd change a single thing. If anything, I just want more of it.
Yeah.
So it's like Grandma's old recipe for chicken and dumpling soup. You don't change anything. It's perfect the way it is.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything to change. Like I said, there was a bit of rapid pacing at the end to wrap up the episode, but you needed it. The episode was out of time, and everything that needed to happen did. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
There were no guest stars in this episode. Any musical moments that stood out to you guys?
They can now play the forbidden music.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I like how Pop Goes the Weasel was forbidden.
Yeah.
I heard that.
But, as we've known, Mr. Largo is just a Sousa-obsessed teacher that, only likes march music. All right, guys, we're in the final moments. BT, do you have any other notes?
Oh, and we both know these children have no future. I
Prove
love his
me
recovery.
wrong, children. Prove me wrong.
It's that'll motivate him.
I love that he just exits after that, chuckling to himself, just plays it cool.
Oh, yeah. You do not hang around after a line.
No.
I like when he's like, children, this is an emergency broadcast. All is well. My authority as principal is total.
Yeah.
Let's have an emergency broadcast about how well everything is going. Marge is dusting the dog and cat.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
And just Bart's noises throughout. Ba? What? Za?
I like how he keeps dumbing it down. It might be feasible in a fortnight.
Huh?
I can play you in 2 weeks.
Ba? And it calls it back with, they're like two positive charged ions. Za?
Yeah. Oh, good old Barty. How about you, Maddie? Any other final notes before we get to the ranking of this thing?
Well, Seymour, we're coming back from a field trip with the fewest children yet. God bless the man who invented permission slips.
Oh, and they lose Uda in that moment.
And isn't there an episode a few episodes later where he's talking to Uda's parents and has to explain it? We just want Uda.
We just need closure.
So good.
Poor Uta.
Did you have any other notes?
Their plan is to replace teachers with super intelligent cyborgs. And if cyborgs haven't been invented yet, then use members of the neighborhood.
That was actually really good future-proofing of the PTA.
Yeah.
It's just hey, we've got to accept this will be a thing. All right, it is time for final note time. That's final. I love the visual of the exhaust. And I love that Ralph isn't the only one not coughing. I think that's extremely telling.
Just to imply that he's adjusted.
Yeah.
He's just accepted his fate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? He used to be really clever in the olden days of the show. Like, she's got that chewing gum walk.
Very wriggly.
Yep, and then she sure could tame that horse.
Yes, but what man could tame her?
I'm amazed we have that in our back pocket now. But
That's classic Ralph.
So yeah, like back in the day, Ralph was like witty and quippy, and this is what happened to him. Oh my god!
Car fumes.
Bart's bones are so brittle despite drinking so much milk.
How do we not bring up milk with vitamin K until vitamin R?
Vitamin R. Yeah, it went beyond K.
Milk.
Yeah, another memeable thing. I feel like they've done like variations of milk in other things. Yeah, my God, why is this episode so funny? We do not deserve it. Bart has a fucking amazing line when he's talking to Skinner. Yeah, the teacher said you'd fart faster than Superman on laundry day. That is just genius.
It's one of those. Nice. Those kind of jokes.
I feel like it also shows how manipulative Bart was. Like, he scripted out this fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
He knew the plan.
What about, he's like, Skinner said you wouldn't have the wontons for it.
Yeah.
He said that? Well, I had to clean it up a little bit. What?
Yes, of course. Skinner, that notorious foul mouth.
Had to clean it up a little. Yeah, I love it. Noiseland Arcade, how the bouncer is just shaking the kids.
Yeah.
You weeding out loiterers. Bart playing 3 games of chess at once.
Yep.
That kid's playing 3 games of chess at once.
And immediately loses.
So good.
Yeah.
That's the best response to that. Dang.
Yeah. Lisa is trying to dissect her own raincoat. So, I love how actually Lisa gets a lot of the wacky moments in this episode.
Surprisingly, without the structure, she just dissolves into whack.
Yeah. Amazing. They managed to reprise the Mo prank call gag without a phone.
Yeah.
How great.
Maya butt rakes.
Yep. And you know what's interesting? We watched an episode recently where Mo dates a little person whose name is Maya. So
what was her last name?
I want to watch that episode again just so I can troll through it and see if there's like her photo ID or something. Because if they put in like her last name was Butt Reeks and they made it really subtle, I think
that would be really funny if he dates someone with a joke name.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I need a bath.
Yeah. And my final note is when they do set up the Springfield Elementary as a /prison, Willie is manning the guard tower at the front.
Wow, I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's so many nice little touches that this and I just want to mention again, Purple Monkey fucking dishwasher.
Purple Monkey dishwasher.
But yeah, like this ruined any game of like telephone or I don't think you're allowed to call it Chinese whispers anymore, but that yeah, because from then on, every game of that involved Purple Monkey dishwasher. Yep. Yeah. All right, guys, we're at the end of the show. That means it is time to rank this thing.
Nice.
BT, kick it off.
I'm going to rank this one a Purple Monkey dishwasher.
All right, and on our scale, that translates into...
this is a solid cubic. I mean, it's so quotable. It's so iconic. It's so much fun, even after all these years. Well paced, well packed with jokes. It's great. I don't know what else you could really want from this episode. There are probably better episodes, but this one's just such a goddamn classic. I still love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddie?
Oh, I think definitely a cubic. It's just so good. It's so enjoyable. It's Purple Monkey dishwasher.
Yeah, I too have to agree with the Purple Monkey dishwasher remarks that, it's one that we go back to and I actually can't believe how perfect it is. Like, sometimes I worry when we're reviewing the newer episodes, fuck, am I being too harsh? Like, is this actually a good episode? But I'm like, oh no, the new ones. But the evidence is there.
Well, sometimes I get the opposite. Like, am I going too soft on this? But then we hit I kind of pay more attention to the pacing and I pay how they've kind of staved it out. And yeah, it's just like, no, this deserves the love I have for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. This will be a unanimous cubic zirconia. So yeah, this is yet another episode into the incredibly long list of cubic zirconias. It will be the 7th cubic zirconia from season 6.
Nice.
Oh,
alone.
from season 6. Okay.
Oh, 7th Oh no, there's
like
there's like 23 now.
Almost 30.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Oddly enough, actually, unanimous cubic zirconia is our biggest category.
Well, we do watch a classic one every time, so
that's true. So anyway, the other season 6 episodes it'll be joining Treehouse of Horror 5. This is like when Homer gets his the time traveling toaster. Also joining Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy, The Love Tonic, Homer the Great, the Stonecutters episode, 2001 Greyhounds with the See My Vest, See My Vest, Lemon of Troy, and Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1. It's actually quite amazing. Season 6 is quickly becoming one of the best seasons.
It's a cubic mine.
Yeah, it really is. All right, guys, that's it for the Simpsons Index this week. But before we go, we'd just like to mention a few things that we're enjoying this week. BT, what are you enjoying this week?
For other music nerds, go onto YouTube, check out 12 Tone. They do fantastic analyses of basically chords in popular songs. Great analysis. If you're a bit rusty on your technical aspects, it'll help dust that off. Yeah, really good stuff. I highly recommend 12 Tone. Check him out.
Yeah, you showed me this channel, and I feel like he's got an excellent way of communicating with theory and drawing the pictures to sort of help stamp his points. And he's got a really great way of explaining the foundations, and also like he goes into some really deep stuff.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. But you just look through his videos, find a song you like. A really good one is Hurt by 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
That's an amazing in-depth intro, as well as Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. Really interesting to watch that kind of be explained and thought about in terms of chords.
How about you, Maddie? What have you been enjoying lately?
I've been listening to What You Missed in History Class, which is, I feel like, a well-established podcast, but really thoroughly enjoyed it. I only recently discovered it and have been listening to their 2009 through to 2010 podcast.
Wow, they must have been like
Going
one
back
of the first.
in time.
Yeah, they must have been one of the first ones in the game. All right, so cool. What was that podcast again?
What You Missed in History Class.
Yeah, what's some of the episodes that you've checked out recently of theirs?
You know, how the French Revolution worked, like why did Lady Godiva take a naked horse ride?
Sure, I don't know why. I just know she had to.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lyric in an acid jam.
Yeah, it's out of Don't Stop Me Now.
They cover so much.
Lady Godiva.
How Vikings worked, how the Navajo code talkers worked, which was really good. Like, obviously, they had this like really complicated native language.
Yeah.
And during World War
It was
One or Two, I can't remember. Oh, listen to their podcast. They use them as code talkers, like in their language, in order to throw off. I think it must have been 2 to throw off the Japanese in their warplanes. And they were saying like because of this like small group of like elite Navajo talkers, they were able to like seriously contribute to the war effort. But of course, they weren't acknowledged for quite a few years
quite
after.
a long time. Although you can watch the Nicolas Cage movie Code Talkers.
I'm sure that's a non-stop thrill ride.
I haven't seen it, but you know.
It's got Nicolas Cage, so it's already got a soft recommendation.
Yeah, exactly. You're in for something.
Yeah. So, a podcast I've been enjoying lately is How to Be a Person.
I need that.
I think you'd actually really like it. It's hosted by Jess Dweck and Mike Drucker, and they're writers for a lot of popular American shows, Daily Show, Bill Nye Saves the World. Mike Drucker used to actually be one of the 3 guys from Up at Noon with Greg Miller on IGN, show that I really used to love. Also, worst episode ever, our good friends over in the States who only cover bad episodes of The Simpsons. They're finally coming back after a 5-month hiatus, and coincidentally they're covering for Mayoween, because that was their thing and we stole it.
Yeah.
They are also covering the Treehouse of Horror 28, the one we did with the Homer eating himself
Which
and
was
whatnot.
fucking awful, yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy that one, suckers.
Yeah. Guys, I think that does it for episode 86 of the Simpsons Index.
Yeah.
Wee-oo.
Nice. All right, guys, we're out of here. That's been Maddie Dockrill.
Bye.
And that's been BT Calloway.
Witty exit line.
And I'm your host, Elliot Jay O'Neill. That's all the mustard in the house.
Thank you for listening to the Simpsons Index podcast, which is also an online spreadsheet available at thesimpsonsindex.com. You can chat to us online at facebook.com/The Simpsons Index or at Simpsons Index on Twitter. And now please stay tuned for the bonus scenes.
And was it the MacGuffin? No, a MacGuffin something different. It was just something.
You're just thinking about muffins now.
Yeah.
It was a cupcake. Different.
Not a MacGuffin muffin. It was a plot point cupcake. How about you,
With
Beats?
sprinkles. I had a thing. Now I gotta find the thing. Hang on.
That's the John Lee Hooker's 1956 hit.
Hey, don't make fun of John Lee Hooker. He's my favorite.
Oh, whoops, 1 second.
You got a phone call mid-podcast.
Hey, Mum.
Hi, Miss O'Neill.
Good, how are you?
Does Elliot have a set of children?
I mean, not that I'm aware of, but he did say the kids, not the niece and nephew. Unless it's a metaphor for dogs. I feel
Maybe.
like,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
Or goats.
Well, that'll be my plan too. Sorry,
good
I do
point.
have to
Well,
go. I'm
good use of
doing a
kids.
podcast at the moment.
No, it's fine.
It's all right. We don't have anything else to do.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye, Mom. I love you.
The next
Bye.
question, how's your mum?
She's good.
What's up with her and the kids?
My brother's kids, not her kids.
Not your goats?
No. We did grow up with goats, though.
Hmm.
We had Fido and Bucket and Sheepy and...
Oh, Jesus.
Did
That's a lot of goats.
was Sheepy like insecure?
oh, he was the worst. Such a temperamental piece of shit.
Had like an identity crisis.
Yes.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why he was a
Yeah.
bit sheepy, mate.
That's probably it.
Ah.
What about Millie? Didn't he pull at your heartstrings at all?
Who is Millie?
Millie House.
Oh. No.
Mill to the hizzy.
Please stop.
I'm a white Australian.
Yes, I've noticed. And I think all our listeners have figured that out.
What gave it away? Was it
Yeah.
the fact that I like full cream milk and toast? What else do white people like?
Different kinds of cheese.
Oh, different kind.
That's what it was. Sorry, Taco Joe. I said Taco Bell earlier. I'm sorry.
It's completely acceptable.
Am I now banned?
I don't make the rules here.
We thrive on inaccuracy.
Yeah, anytime you're not sure, we just throw to editing bay Elliot Jay.
And yes, that was right. And
You can't do it now.
Can you just dub over my voice later?
Oh yeah, we do for like 90% of your dialogue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's actually me.
Ooh.
he does a flawless Maddie impression.
Oh, I've never noticed, but I sound so much more articulate afterwards, so must be you.
These are actually pajamas that have the print of real person clothes on them.
Oh, yeah. We did have pajamas that had, like, you know those shirts that you have the fake tucks on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had pajamas like that.
Fake tux pajamas.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Oh, that's so you can have classy dreams. That is so awesome.
Yeah, they didn't sell well, but, like, you know.
Sorry, Sin Sticks, I believe it is.
Sin sticks, that's
Yeah.
right.
Or is that Star Wars? Shit. God, everything is wrong today.
Sin sticks are from Star Wars?
No, it's something else. I'm having a bad day. I'm very sorry.
Oh. You had a
Death
bad
sticks.
day. You make yourself down.
Stop it.
I hate this fucking song.
Ben,
it's
stop
a
it.
bad melody.
It's Death Sticks in Star Wars. Death
Sin
Sticks.
sticks.
Sin
Sin Sticks in The Simpsons. Death Sticks in Star Wars.
So, like, anything that the producer's like, oh, can you, like, do this job for me so I can do an important job? I do the unimportant jobs.
Hey, every job is important.
That's what they keep telling me.
You go from production assistant to producer.
Yeah, hopefully one day.
That's it. When the trust of the producer betray the producer, become the producer.
Yes.
Don't get proteges.
That's why we work solo, because one day you're just having coffee, then all of a sudden poison.
By the way, BT, here is your coffee.
Yeah, that's all I do is production assistant. Run and get people coffees and food.
I'll have
Little
you
do they
know I'm
know.
impervious to all poisons.
Mm.
All the ones I've given you so far, you have been.
Very hard to kill. Still a Terminator at heart.
I remember this on the same VHS with like Simpsons Tall Tales and Smart and Smarter and Little Big Mum. Like, yeah, this was like my stoner VHS tape mix when I was still living at Mum's house.
Hi, Miss O'Neill.
Is she going to call you again?
Probably.
Elliot, I heard on your podcast you smoking the marijuana.
Do we need to have a discussion?
Where's mine? All right, just give me a sec or two.
Always with the sex. Wait, god damn it.
He's a loser, Marge. Jump in. I traveled the world on the 7 seas.
I am watching you through a camera. Yeah.
Damn it, Elliot. Like, we timed that. That could have timed so
we
well.
crescendoed.
Should we do
We'll stick with
Should you unshendo?
You know, that's not a thing. Your music degree just caught fire.
You know, I still haven't picked
I
that
know
up
you
yet.
haven't. Is there like a blanket word for like niece, nephew?
Nibbling.
Really?
You got siblings, your brothers and sisters. You got nibblings. They're
I
your
like
nieces
it.
and
I like
nephews.
it a lot. I mean, mine are just currently nicknamed Squeaky and Leaky. It's like grandma's old chicken and dumpling wrestling. It's wrestling. God fucking call fucking horse shitting bullshit.
Oh.
Take two.
Welcome to the GCW. GCDW. Grandma's Chicken and Dumpling Wrestling. All the grandmas, all the chicken dumplings.
All
wrestling.
the wrestling, all
it
the
like-
nutrition.
Is it like mud wrestling?
No.
But like
It's
grandma's
gravy wrestling.
in like a big thing of soup?
Well, it is now. Thanks for ruining that.
That's what I'm imagining.
That was actually just me.
You have to talk over it occasionally, otherwise we have to pay royalties.
Hey there, royalties. We're not paying you, so fuck right off. Hey there, it's free now. Counts as parody, so we don't pay.
This is something I discovered after school, and I wish I discovered it before, because this would have been an amazing prank. Me and my brother were talking one night, and like, we're probably stoned. Is dirt actually dirt cheap? And like, my brother's like, no, you got to pay heaps for dirt. And then I found out, you looked up, you can get 2 tons of dirt for like $50 with delivery.
All right, so where are we going to put that?
Maybe that's what I should do with the backyard, man. Just
Dirt
have
pile.
a fucking massive sand pit.
A dirt pile or a sand pit?
Sand tower.
But you said dirt was cheap. How much
Yeah.
is sand?
Sand's
Sand's more
expensive.
expensive.
Oh, yeah, you might have to pay a bit.
Buddy, you get it.
You got to pay more for
You're
like.
going to have a dirt pit, not a sand pit.
It'd be fine grain as well. You don't
Yeah.
want that cheap sand.
I don't know if they grade sand, but
I'm pretty sure they
course.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Sand doesn't grow on trees.
That was my Archer quote, guys.
What?
your Archer quote.
Yeah.
Which bit?
He says it's a woodhouse when he's like, go get some sand to, I don't know, put
All I
in
can
your
think
eyes
is you're
or
going to have to
something.
eat a bowl of cobwebs.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sir, please don't.
An entire bowl.
If I find one single dog hair when I get back, I'll rub sand in your dead little eyes. Very good, sir. I also need you to go buy sand. Yes, sir. I don't know if they grade it, but of course.
It's got that great little comedic pause before like,